break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
A toe. A freaking toe. The whole game comes down to a toe. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Can we talk about the fact that Isaiah Likely for the Baltimore Ravens, who appeared to catch it would have been not game tying, but the touchdown at the very, very end of the game where you saw John Harbaugh was already saying go for two. They were going to go for the kill on the road. Isaiah Likely, literally big toe, comes down out of bounds. Game over. Chiefs win. We never know what the Ravens would have even run in this 2-point. Would have been Lamar, would have been Derrick Henry, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a toe, Perloff, and that's how the Chiefs escape, and they win the opener. They're 1-0.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of internet chatter about the curvature of his cleat. Have you seen that?
No.
So the big toe is on the white, possibly. But what if, you know how some shoes sort of have a curve? What if it was actually hanging over the line? Nobody can tell. There's no video evidence that maybe the way his cleat was built, there was some air between the cleat and the ground. I'm telling you, this is a real thing.
Oh, my gosh.
This
Who
is
are
like
the MIT physicists who have this on their docket today?
I mean, this is so funny. Remember, Kevin Durant's toe was on the line famously in the NBA playoffs. Like, the toe is controversial. If the cleat is curved, there is an argument that possibly the way the shoe was built, his toe did not actually touch the line. You know what? It's week one. If this was the Super Bowl, then this would become the biggest physics issue ever in the NFL since Deflategate. But I kind of, it's funny. He caught a touchdown. I'm like, ooh, that was really close. I thought the other foot was out of bounds too. I didn't think it was going to hold. And I don't know. When you saw it, was your immediate reaction like he's in bounds? It looked, when you're eyeballing it, it looked like he landed out of bounds.
No, I thought he was in bounds 100%. Yeah. And I'm such a proponent of replay. Like, I want umpires gone from behind the plate in baseball, and I want everything replayed. And I think challenges are silly. Like, just replay it all. It's 2024.
No. You don't think they should go to the video in a situation like that?
No. I'm a huge proponent of replay.
Oh, sorry.
But last night, I hate that replay. I feel like he made the play.
What does that even mean?
You know what I'm
saying? So
you're
a proponent of replay, but you don't want to replay in that situation?
Because the play is so spectacular, right?
So what?
It's the final play of the game. Lamar at one point has his back to the play. He's scrambling around. You come up with this unreal catch in the back of the end zone, and because of a toenail, we are robbed of this great moment. And so it makes me feel like,
Wait. But that doesn't make any sense. You're pro replay, but you think in that particular situation.
Yes. Sometimes being pro replay, it's like, well, you end up robbing every one of these spectacular plays because of a hangnail. It's like the spirit of the play versus the blade of grass that was touched. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. That makes no sense. So you're like, it's a reality. You can't decide, okay, this is a big game. Let's just let it go.
No, you can't. No, I get why. It's just there's some times when I wish we just wiped replay from the face of the earth.
But what if you're a Chiefs fan and let's say they do hit the 2-point conversion and the Ravens win? You would walk away from
you'd
Thursday.
be feeling screwed.
The whole country would be like, this is the world's biggest sport. The country's biggest sport. You can't do that.
No, so I get why. It just, there's part of me that laments.
I see what you're saying.
As the play is spectacular and it gets wiped away because of a blade of grass.
Yeah.
That's the part of it. So, okay, this is what happens. Isaiah Likely, who, by the way, should get a lot of credit for the fact that he was even back in the game to catch that would-be touchdown, because the play 2 plays before, he landed on his shoulder as he's trying to catch a pass in the back of the end zone, Perloff, and it looked like maybe his shoulder got completely, dislocated or something. He's writhing in pain in the back of the end zone, has to come out. I'm thinking that's it for Likely for the game. And then 2 plays later, he's back in catching this touchdown, would-be touchdown, catching this pass in a way that was spectacular. So I think he deserves a little credit there for just even being back on the field. And also, they needed him.
That deserves credit for dominating the game from the get-go.
He was awesome.
Amazing. He's on my fantasy team. I'm going to do that. Yeah, he, by the way, one thing I did read about, the Chiefs specifically keep Mark Andrews out of the game, the number one tight end. They love to just isolate Mark Andrews. So likely had a lot of opportunities. And Andrews is coming off remember he had that car wreck a few weeks ago. So he hasn't been practicing fully. Yeah. So Isaiah Likely stepped into that one tight end role. And the tight end's a big deal in the Ravens offense. So it looks like he's going to be a star. And man, he stepped up. His long touchdown where at the very end, he juked the guy at the end zone was spectacular. He's such a good athlete. Like you look at that guy, you're like, wow, he's a star tight end.
So we're talking about the Ravens. The Chiefs won the game, by the way, 27-20. If you didn't see it, the Chiefs win. Of course they did, because the Chiefs win everything, it seems like. And here's what the situation. We're talking about these spectacular plays that the Baltimore Ravens made even to make this a game at the end. Yeah. The reality is they trailed by double digits at 2 points very late in this game, third quarter and then in the fourth quarter, because of all the mistakes that they made. You know, if I'm the Ravens, you know, they said after the game, this is the worst we're going to play. And, you know, this is, we have so much more to grow and to get better. They have a lot to clean up. That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know how you don't feel devastated by this, but there was, you know, I saw a great headline that said they lost by a toe because they kept shooting themselves in the foot. And it's a great play on words, because that is exactly what happened with the Ravens. It was very frustrating to watch them in the second half. The first half I thought was great. I didn't love the end of the first half where, you know, obviously Justin Tucker misses a 53-yard field goal. That is extremely rare. But I didn't love them in the second half. The third quarter, I didn't love. Credit the Chiefs. Ravens couldn't get a lot going. It was like Lamar, and that was it. And I thought the penalties that they got, Ronnie Stanley, their left tackle, got called 3 times for the illegal formation. It's a new point of emphasis. They obviously had a turnover deep in their own end zone. You know, just so many things that for the Ravens that were frustrating to watch in week one.
Throw it out the window. It doesn't matter. That was a preseason game. I mean, Lamar, that's the rustiest I've seen Lamar, and I can't remember. I mean, Lamar doesn't
Skinny Lamar.
He doesn't miss that many passes in the red zone an entire season. I mean, first of all, the one at the end, Zay Flowers. We wouldn't even have that Isaiah Likely toe on the line thing if Lamar Jackson just thrown a normal pass to a wide open Zay Flowers a couple plays before.
I mean, wide open.
Yeah, Lamar was super rusty. His numbers actually look okay because they were throwing all these bubble screens. Like I thought the first half was hot garbage from the Ravens offense. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a play calling masterclass from the Chiefs against a high school level coaching job by the Ravens. How many short passes are you going to throw? You know, he had less than 1 yard of air space in every throw by the first half. It was because they didn't trust their line at all, so Lamar just got rid of it. You don't want Lamar running every play. That is not the Ravens.
And lowering the shoulder, too. Yeah. He wasn't sliding. He was really taking the contact.
That's because their passing offense was just terrible last night. I think that'll all get fixed up. In part, too, because you mentioned the penalties and the alignment. Again, remember last year, Detroit beat Kansas City in week 1. There was no Kelsey and no Chris Jones in that game, and nobody worried about that. Don't worry about this game for the Ravens, right? Like you mentioned, they can clean this up. Lamar is going to play way better than he did last night. He does not miss. He's like a 70% thrower in the red zone, and last night he was just off.
Yeah.
From the get go, and he ran a lot. He's not.
He was the only one keeping him in it.
He was, but I mean, listen. There are a lot of teams who could run their quarterback 15 times and stay in games. Teams don't do that because it's suicide. So I told you yesterday, Lamar's going to be so intent on getting revenge from last year's AFC title game, and he's going to run every play.
Yeah,
that's not what they're going to do moving forward, right?
Well, they were very much about that on the broadcast as well, and ultimately the Ravens fall, so they don't get that revenge. They lose 27-20, and it's a toe. It's Isaiah Likely's toe, and you know, to be honest though, at that point in the game, the Ravens were holding on by a thread. I didn't even mention the fact they had to burn 2 timeouts on the defensive side early in the second half in the third quarter. And so they were flying without a safety net. I mean, just no timeouts with 1:30 when they got the ball back. It was just a lot of like, you have to play a cleaner game if you're going to beat Kansas City in Kansas City, whether it's week 1 or whether it's week 17. So there's another part of this, though, from the Chiefs side.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. This team is fast.
Yeah.
This is Tyreek Hill 2.0. We all done messed up.
Yeah.
Everyone who's not a Chiefs fan, and specifically my team, the Buffalo Bills, we all done messed up because we handed the Chiefs Tyreek Hill 2.0. His name's Xavier Worthy. He went to Texas. He ran the fastest 40 in the history of the combine, about 0.03 of a second faster than Tyreek Hill. It was a 4.21 versus a 4.24. He scored 2 touchdowns last night. The second one was beyond easy. He didn't even need the speed. It was a broken coverage. Marlon Humphrey from the Ravens thought there was help coming over, and there wasn't. Right. He waltzed in. We all messed up, guys. This is a bad thing for everyone who's not a Chiefs fan. And you're shaking your head.
Xavier Worthy barely was on the field. What the heck did Xavier Worthy do last night?
He scored 2 touchdowns.
Yes, one was on a carry. So that he's a wide,
fast.
You know, he's a wide. Yeah, he's faster.
Who cares how he gets there? It was
because you could have easily run McCole Hardman on the same play. Like, he's a first-round draft pick who got 2 catches in his first game before wide receiver. Like, he didn't do anything, and he had 1 broken play, and they had 1 12-yard catch. He was barely on the. He did nothing.
What are you talking about?
I mean, he had 2 catches for 47 yards, and one was a 35-yard broken coverage. So he's got to play receiver, Maggie. Like, I don't care if he can run a reverse. That's not a skill that means anything for a wide receiver.
It's Andy Reid. He just wants playmakers. He puts people in positions where
That's
it keeps the defense off of. And it's his first game. And look at how impactly he was. And by the way,
he had 3 targets.
You have to account for him too. And they talked about that on the broadcast because
you obviously don't. He only had 3 targets. You don't have to account for him at all.
No, but just being on the field, you have to account for his speed. It's like at every level. You've got you have to think about Mahomes. You have to think about Pacheco. Yeah. You've got to think about Kelsey. And now you got to think about Worthy. Wow. And now you got all these guys at every level. The defense, I mean, the Ravens linebackers look like they were in molasses last night. And that's the Ravens.
I think this was all set up for next game against the Bengals because I can't believe all we heard about the Chiefs was they're deep. We're going to change it up and we're going to throw the ball downfield, and they didn't throw the ball downfield at all. You don't think their defenses are going to start creeping up? How many short passes Rashee Rice can you run in a game? At a certain point, defenses are going to start bringing it on that. That's their only play now. Okay. It's a bubble screen to Rashee Rice. That's their whole offense.
Okay, but they were also playing against the Ravens, who have this really good secondary. So against a regular team, they're going to burn them all day.
They didn't burn anybody last year.
Worthy wasn't there. That's what I'm saying.
But Worthy had no impact in the passing game at all. Like 0. He had 1 broken play. He had 2 catches, Maggie. So the question is, are they going to have... Is there a new element to this team? I mean, maybe when Hollywood Brown comes back, but it doesn't seem like they're any different than last year. And last year, they were offensively challenged. You can't short pass the entire game. You got to, at some point, throw something, right?
I think they will. I mean, they have Mahomes. They did try a couple deep passes, and there was some good Ravens coverage.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Ravens DBs are pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. You saw 2 touchdowns by a guy being very efficient in those 3 targets that he gets. And you're going against this great secondary. To me, this adds another element where I felt like I was watching the Chiefs from 5 years ago.
God, I thought it was exactly last year. I thought it was all Rashee Rice, Isaiah Pacheco.
Well, it's great to have Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco, and now you got a burner too.
Yeah, but
you actually have 2 burners once Hollywood Brown comes back.
Right, but they didn't run any of those plays. So, is that an element? I wonder, honestly, are they going to be able to pass vertically like they used to? You saw something last night where you said, oh, man, they figured that out because they didn't do anything. They had 1 broken play to Kelsey, and then they had 1 broken play to Xavier Worthy. And those weren't even really long passes. Are they going to be able to throw bombs like they used to? I don't think so. I think they're back to being conservative.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't see it. 855-212-4227. What'd you see out of the Chiefs?
I mean, obviously, there was only 2 plays over 30 yards, and they were both run after catches. So, I mean, I don't think he had a long pass. The longest pass was that broken play to Kelsey, and that wasn't even that long. So there's no vertical offense whatsoever. I wonder if they try and unleash it on the Bengals. No, I was struck by them. Oh, my gosh, this is the AFC title game overall. They get a lead, and then they're just getting super conservative, tons of Pacheco. Mahomes is not taking any risks.
Yeah, Andy Reid punted on a 4th and 5 at the Baltimore 40. I get that, but they also got the ball back, and it's a credit, actually. The Baltimore's defense stopped them to even have a chance at the final play and to try to tie the game, or they were going to go for the win. But I thought they were up by double digits. Of course you'd run the ball. Anyone would do that at home. That's just smart.
But I saw everybody was tweeting oh, Buffalo. I mean, obviously, Worthy only had 2 catches. I mean, you can't ignore that. They were fluke plays.
What were the outcome of those catches?
What difference does it make? It was a touchdown, but you drafted a receiver in the first round, I would hope that he's going to get more than 2 catches a game.
Well, it's his first game. I mean,
Yeah.
He left his mark on this game. I'm stunned that this is your take on it because
he's another Mecole Hardman. That's all he is to me.
Can we clip this? I feel like this is like up there with the Wembanyama take where you're like, I don't think Wemby's going to be that good. And then he unanimously won Rookie of the Year. Now you have to drive to San Antonio to apologize to him.
Obviously,
I feel like we're treading on that territory.
If you watch that game last night, there's obviously one star receiver. It's Rashee Rice.
So that's another thing I want to get into.
Yeah, he's a close. You say they have Tyreek Hill again. He's the Tyreek Hill.
I want to get everyone's thoughts on this at 855-212-4227 because we did get some news about Rashee Rice. And this is another element of the Chiefs that make them the ultimate boogeyman. And I'm going to tell you what that is next. There is something specifically about this Chiefs team. And I think you even saw it last night where you saw the Ravens go for it on a 4th and 3 at midfield. There is several things that create this boogeyman aspect of the Chiefs I want to get to in a sec. But do you agree with Perloff? Did you think this is same Chiefs from a year ago? I felt like I saw something scary. Like they're going for a three-peat, and this is speed now that they didn't have a year ago.
They did win the Super Bowl last year. So you're saying it's not necessarily a bad thing to be the Chiefs from last year. I want to point that out.
That is true, but their offense was different last year. It was not characteristic.
Right, but statistically, last night they really replicated last year's offense. Short passes to Rice. That was it. Really.
Yeah, well, they moved the ball.
Right. They're now a first down machine instead of the explosive plays. Right. They don't have that in their offense yet.
855-212-4227. Were you impressed or not impressed with the Chiefs?
I thought the whole game, it felt like a preseason game. It didn't. I was impressed. I'm very curious. Are they setting up the Bengals for a completely different offense in week 2? Because they can't run that all year. At a certain point, like they got to have a vertical passing game, or the defense is just going to start creeping up, and you can't have all that yak. That's the first thing you said to me this morning. Like, man, they're amazing after the catch. Yeah, that's because, that's all they do. At a certain point, can't you adjust for that? There's got to be like a Mahomes drops back and throws a 30-yard pass. That's not part of their offense right now.
They didn't adjust when Tyreek Hill was getting all those yak yards. I mean...
No, but Tyreek Hill had the incredible vertical. I mean, he would beat you long on a deep pass all the time. Think about that. Like, I just haven't seen that yet. Maybe when Hollywood Brown gets back.
Man, I'm scared of Worthy. I spent the night depressed, like for my own situation. Every time that he catches a touchdown, like a little part of me is just going to like wither away and die. Like the fact that my team, the Buffalo Bills, handed and just tossed the alley-oop for the Chiefs to slam dunk this pick and how it could change their offense. Not to mention they got their left tackle of the future clearly in this draft too. So, and he did well last night. A little part of me just like leaked out, just like faith, hope by the millisecond that anyone else is going to beat the Chiefs I was just a puddle last night. But there's another part of this, I'm sorry, that the Chiefs are the boogeyman.
We had a tarot card reader on yesterday who said the Chiefs would make the Super Bowl and lose. And I agree with that because honestly, they're clearly the same exact team from last year. They have amazing defensive players and they have Pacheco. They just play too close. They're going to be close. They can't win every close game in the Super Bowl, Maggie. They're going to lose this one by a field goal to the Green Bay Packers.
They won yesterday, but it was really Baltimore losing by a toe. Well, we don't know what would happen on the 2-point conversion, but it was spectacular ending. The NFL is back and came back with a boom. 855-212-4227. Xavier Worthy, his impact on the Chiefs. Does this look like Tyreek Hill 2.0? You let us know. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I have to make a slight confession.
What's that?
We did our Super Bowl picks yesterday. I picked the Packers and Bengals in the Super Bowl, and you picked the Packers and the Chiefs.
Yep.
Then I saw my friend Peter Schrager on the NFL Network picked the Packers and the Chiefs.
Yep.
And he's gotten it right
Peter,
five.
Again,
Peter
copying
Schrager.
me.
Yeah. He's gotten it right.
Getting original thought.
5 years in a row. So I did place a future bet on the Chiefs last night. Because if Schrager gets it again, and you get it this year too, and the Chiefs win it all, despite our tarot card reader saying that they will not win the Super Bowl on our show yesterday, I did put in a little future on the Chiefs. And I feel pretty good about it.
How daring of you.
I feel pretty good about it, but I got to tell you, what we saw in the Chiefs, like the Chiefs are going to play a lot of close games because they're not built to blow anyone out. Now they've changed their entire style to be a little more conservative, in my opinion. Like they ground out that win with Pacheco yesterday, where in 2019 they didn't even have that.
Yeah,
they would just fire away.
But it's the NFL. It's not college. It's not the NBA. I don't really care about the blowouts factor or like how explosive. It's just, I think you're discounting. We're talking about Xavier Worthy and his impact on the Chiefs. I think this looks like Tyreek Hill 2.0.
He had 2 catches. Tyreek Hill
and they went for touchdowns.
Yeah, but so what? No, they only won for a touchdown.
One went for a touchdown. But he had scored 2 touchdowns last night. This was a hell of a debut, and you're just like, I don't know. They're really dinking and dunking down the field. Like,
yes, they are. There's no doubt about it.
But that's against the Ravens, who have this great secondary. Like,
but
you
they
also
did
have
that
to play
all of last year.
Who you're playing. I know, but let's see. The guy's at 1 game. I mean, he's got 1 game, and he had 2 touchdowns. It's like one of the great debuts that we've ever seen. Prof's like, I don't really see it. I wish I had your optimism, because as a Bills fan, I'm a mess. Let's go to Josh. He's in Erie, Pennsylvania. Wants to talk about Xavier Worthy. Good morning, Josh. What's up, dude?
Morning, Maggie. As Bills fans, how sick are we that we traded that pick for Xavier Worthy? I am desolate.
Honestly, Keon Coleman now has to get to the Hall of Fame. I know, not to put too much pressure on this dude, but the Bills traded back. They didn't have first-round grades on anybody. They were picking 28th. And not to make this all about the Bills, but this is going to be a story. Because if you just handed Tyreek Hill 2.0 to the Chiefs, then someone's going to have to answer for this. And the fact that it's your biggest rival who did it, you almost feel like as a fan, your own team stabbed you in the back. And then the extra third-round pick that they got is some interior defensive lineman from Duke. This dude better be Christian Laettner and Jay Williams combined, in football-wise, for this to make sense.
Yeah, I'm in shambles. When I saw it happen last night, I was just silent during the entire rest of the game.
I know, Josh. I'm with you. And again, about us, not about the Eagles, not about the Bills, excuse me, but it kind of was last night.
But I don't understand. Where was he the rest of the game? Honestly, was he on the field? I have no idea.
I think that you're discounting teams having to account for him and how that opens things up for other players on the field.
Maybe. But sure didn't seem to open up anything. Why did they throw 100 screen passes? Nothing was open the whole game.
I thought there were times when they really found the middle of the field with Rashee Rice. That's exactly what you want, isn't it?
They're really good at that short pass to Rashee Rice. That's their whole offense right now. I'm telling you, they're setting up Cincinnati. I don't think they're even going to look the same next game.
That'll be interesting. I mean, you know Andy Reid well.
I think they, believe it or not, because I'm not a huge Hollywood Brown guy, I think they want him back. I think that he was the game plan. I'm not sure Xavier Worthy. He reminds me so much of Xavier Worthy at Texas. This guy's amazing. This guy's amazing. How come he's not getting more catches, or why isn't he doing more? I always wondered that about Xavier Worthy at Texas. It's kind of a fast guy thing.
855-212-4227, yes.
Do you want to do a show bet? Who has more catches, Keon Coleman or Xavier Worthy?
Oh, no. I'm mentally not ready for that.
I will guarantee you Keon Coleman has more catches.
Well, because that's a different receiver room there for Buffalo. There's no Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Although Kelce is and is not a big part of the game plan. Last night was kind of interesting. He had very little, 34 yards, something like that. But he still is blocking. He still is out there.
He was a blocking machine
You
last
still
night.
have to account for him.
Also, too, I give Noah Gray all the Kelce yards, too. That's one person kind of because they have the same number almost. They look alike. By the way, you guys, I think the Xavier Legette's and the Keon Coleman's, they're all good. Maybe I'm being totally naive. I'm not totally sold on Xavier Worthy. 2 catches. He's drafted as a wide receiver. I don't care if he could run a reverse. Anybody can run a reverse. There's no wide receiver skill in that. He caught a little handoff.
He blazed by the defense.
But it could have easily been McCole Hardman on that play. That was amazing play design.
Hey, Bogus.
Why are you talking Maggie off the ledge here? This was amazing. He touches the ball for the first time, and he just runs past 11 NFL defenders into the end zone.
Yes, thank you for the text, by the way.
It's
I needed that, Bogus. Thank you. I know, I get it.
Whoever's in charge up above was like, they need content. Here's this.
Yes.
And you're going, it's not a big deal. He touched the ball 3 times. Twice he ended up in the end zone. I'm good with that as a debut.
Yeah,
That scares me.
Perloff's like, what will they do week 11 when everyone's playing too high?
You draft a wide
they
receiver.
won.
You draft a wide receiver at 26, he gets 2 catches in his first game.
In his first game.
Watch Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go for 180 yards on Sunday.
Not the same
Thank
player.
you. Also against the Bills. Excited about that.
I just think that, first of all, Ricky Pearsall just got shot, and he's about to go for 90. But by the way, is that crazy? He was at practice yesterday?
Crazy.
It's
Walking
crazy.
around like nothing happened.
Niners rookie just got shot.
Xavier Worthy get shot?
I'm telling you.
Ipso facto.
The other thing about
no,
the Chiefs is like, I mean, they're just throwing an army of wide receivers. I'm like, is that Juju Smith-Schuster who just dropped a surefire touchdown? Like, they have 50 guys they're throwing the ball to. I do not think, like, they're Patrick Mahomes and a little Rashee Rice and a little Isaiah Pacheco. This team is the same team as last year. They're probably going to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a formula. Can we also talk about their defense is awesome? Like, we don't.
My Chris
who
Jones
cares about
Defensive
Xavier
Player
Worthy?
of the Year, I'm feeling good about.
Yeah, who cares about Xavier Worthy? You have like the greatest linebacking core in the history of the NFL. I just think you guys are overreacting to this Xavier Worthy thing. If he was in Buffalo, by the way, they wouldn't have called that reverse in 150 years. He would be terrible if he was a Bill. He wouldn't even catch a single pass.
You act like the Bills are running the wing T. Come on.
Oh, come on.
They would have found a way to use his speed.
Compared to what the Chiefs run on offense, the Bills are running the wing T, and you know that, Maggie.
EJ, can we put a poll up? I don't even, is Perloff tripping? I don't even know what the poll should be.
How much does Perloff suck? 1, 2, or 3?
Were you impressed with Xavier Worthy?
How could you not be?
Perloff?
Because he had 2 catches. One and blown coverage. He was fine, but he wasn't definitely not impactful in the game. I don't even know how many snaps he got. I did not see him out there.
Right, and like
he scored most of their points.
What the heck is what is? Who cares? What
does
is
that
difference does
matter?
that
Most
make?
of their points. That literally is the impact on the game. Saying, what did he do? Half the team's points belong to him. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's 10 miles away from where you are, and I've been flabbergasted for 30 minutes.
You guys don't think
What
this
are we
is
talking
like an
about?
obvious overreaction? The guy scores on a reverse and a blown coverage.
But what's the overreaction? No one's putting him in the Hall of Fame. No one's saying it was Jerry Rice. They just said it's ridiculous. He touched the ball 3 times and twice he scored.
1 out of 3 people in this room is putting him in the Hall of Fame.
I said Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Yeah, because she's a self-hating Bills fan.
But that's what I mean by overreaction. Like, how can you possibly just say to me that no one here is putting him in the Hall of Fame when I think 3/4 of our staff is putting him in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, so let's
I haven't asked
question.
Boyle. I'm sure Boyle's looking at the bust as well.
No, I think you're crazy for this take. I would just say this. Rashee Rice in his first did not have a 100-yard game with the Chiefs until week 12 of last year, and then he basically had 90 or more yards almost every game for the rest of the regular season. So if he's doing that in his NFL debut, think about once he gets more acclimated with the offense, what he could be, how much more special he could be.
Okay, so another part I want to get to this. I'm glad you brought up Rice because there's, again, this there's this lucky factor and this luck thing that is also happening with the Kansas City Chiefs already. And first and foremost was the report we got last night. And Bogusch, I don't know if this is in your update, so sorry if I'm stepping on you, but the report that Rashee Rice is most likely not going to face any consequences from the drag racing incident this season. Because
they're waiting for the legal process.
Okay, so fine, and that's okay if you want to wait for the legal process, but let's not kid ourselves. That is a break for the Kansas City Chiefs.
For this year, yes.
For this year when they're going for this historic three-peat, yes, this is what we care about this year.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to say that doesn't matter, too, because if they suspend him for 8 games and Patrick Mahomes would find 3 other targets out of somewhere and they'd end up getting to the Super Bowl and winning, and you know that. It doesn't.
How?
How? Because he had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. The how doesn't matter. He's done it in 9 different styles. He could do it left-handed. He could do it no look. I don't know how. He'll invent something new. He'll go between the legs on the game-winning touchdown. Honestly, like Rashee Rice being suspended 8 games probably would have been a benefit. Rest him up and unleash that on the NFL afterwards. That's what I'm saying. The Xavier Worthy, all these things are totally, yes, they're good players, but this is because of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And again,
we're not denying that, but so Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they're using them to the tune of a rookie scored 2 touchdowns against a really good defense last night, and you're like, ho hum, we're like impressed, and you're not.
I'm not impressed.
And I'll also point out that as good as Mahomes and Reed are, there are guys that have not succeeded with them, like Kadarius Toney, who couldn't figure his what out around them, and Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. There are guys who have gone there and not produced
Super Bowls.
So
they won Super Bowls.
They won Super Bowls, but they didn't.
Kadarius Toney killed us in the Super Bowl.
But they didn't always just walk in and put up numbers. You were arguing about Xavier Worthy. Anyone could have done this. People have gone to KC and not done things.
But he didn't put up numbers. He had 2 catches.
He scored 2 touchdowns.
Kadarius Toney scored 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. By the way, same exact thing. He's just like blazing fast and ran past everybody. I think if you draft a guy at number 26, he's got to be able to run great routes and be all that. And maybe it'll take him time. But
yeah,
is he going to be a gadget player? Is that what we're talking about?
And that's the fear. Another guy that can do ridiculous things and beat you. That's the concern. Like, I didn't expect him to walk in and have 10 catches for 150 yards last night. I thought he was going to have a handful of catches, and he did, and he scored twice. So that scares me.
He didn't have a handful of catches.
2 catches.
One hand. A half a hand.
2 catches on 3 targets.
Okay, great. And one of them went into the end zone. I
EJ,
like that rate.
Do you want to put the poll up? Were you impressed by Xavier there? I feel like if you're not listening to the show, you're not going to understand sort of what we're doing.
I'll put up another poll. Is it an overreaction to think that Xavier Worthy is going to be a superstar?
Is Tyreek Hill 2.0?
Yes.
Okay,
that's ridiculous. If anyone thinks you saw enough to think he's Tyreek Hill 2.0, come on. Where? Tyreek Hill runs the best patterns in the league. Like, he's unstoppable. And I'm just picturing him in Miami.
What did he do in his first game?
He's 12 yards past the. Yeah, but that's such a projection.
Yeah. Yes,
you also act like
the
Chiefs didn't use Tyreek Hill in gadgets, especially when he first got there. Tyreek Hill was running reverses. He was running reverses. He was running short passes. You're acting like, Tyreek Hill was doing Justin Jefferson receiver routes. They didn't play him like that.
You're acting like you saw enough last night to say he's Tyreek Hill. Okay.
Tyreek Hill.
I'm saying
that's what you just said.
Shades of.
No,
you literally just said that.
No, I did not literally just say that. That did not come out of my mouth. What I said was that Tyreek Hill also was used in gadget plays. The idea that you're taking away what Worthy did because they quote unquote were gadget like, to me, it doesn't make sense because Xavier, the guy that he replaced, the guy that we're comparing him to, also was used in that same manner when he first got to Kansas City. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill's targets to start his NFL career in KC: 1, 2, 4, 7, 2, 1, 6. With kick returns, with punt returns, with a handful of unsuccessful runs. So, again, is he Tyreek Hill 2.0? No. But did Tyreek Hill walk in and have 9 for 90 and 2 touchdowns? Absolutely not. Tyreek Hill was not Tyreek Hill on day one as a Chief either.
All right. The one thing I will say is this works in the Chiefs format. Xavier Worthy might not be able to do all this. He's a perfect fit for the Chiefs and their gadgets and their fast.
And
I understand.
That's who he's playing for.
I agree with you very much on that. But to say what you saw last night, this guy is going to be a superstar, I think that's quite speculative. I think it's a bit of an overreaction to a broken play and a reverse.
But the only one that's really doing that in the room is Maggie because she's a Bills fan, and that she has been heartbroken about this since late April.
Fair, and yes, it's
and then you said, "What did he do?" So me and EJ had to come to the defense of logic.
But you have to admit, the guy had 2 catches.
All my worst
fears.
2
catches. You guys are acting like he just pulled Calvin Johnson in his prime. I know he had 2 touchdowns.
How many did you have last night?
You guys are making this about Xavier Worthy when you should be making it more about me. And I'm disappointed in the group, the crew, this entire industry.
I honestly, Maggie's excuse. Being a Bills fan is a mental illness. It's diagnosed and it's in the DSM. Everyone
What's
knows,
your problem?
Everyone knows what's going on. Well, it's called logic. It's called logic.
No, I've never heard anyone easily dismiss 2 touchdowns.
Are both you're all crazy. How many 2 touchdowns? When a running back gets a 1-yard touchdown, you're like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. A touchdown's the most overrated stat in football, scoring touchdowns.
Okay, so
not when you run 30 yards.
30 yards past Marlon Humphrey stopped covering you. A revert. That is not a skill that you draft a wide receiver and to run a handoff. That's just not a thing.
Well, he could be the perfect fit for them. All right, we did it again. We never got to the freaking update.
No, there's plenty of time for an update. It's okay.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with headlines because we also have sound from this game. Yeah. We've got plenty of stuff. What did Lamar Jackson have to say about the touchdown that almost was with Isaiah Likely's toe being out of bounds, wipes away a touchdown? This game had a lot of drama last night.
we really going to, I think we just talk about baseball now because the NFL season's over because they have Tyreek Hill all of a sudden. And he's going to catch 14 touchdowns a game, according to you guys.
Honestly,
because he had a broken play. Because Marlon Humphrey thought the safety was on him. That didn't prove anything to me.
This is scary. And I also love that we now set up Peter Schrager, who's picked the correct Super Bowl winner 6 years in a row, versus Angela, the tarot card reader. I mean, fight. Like, if that's not what we want, Street Fighter, I love it. Okay, we've got sound from this game. We've got highlights from this game. We have everything that you may have missed last night, and we'll do that with Bogusch next. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Last night, first game of the season for the NFL, delivered on the drama. Isaiah Likely out of the back of the end zone by a toe. Literally a toe. You already saw John Harbaugh was going to go for 2 if that touchdown had stood, which is also very ballsy. But I get it. Go for the win on the road. Can't be mad at that. We will never know what kind of play they were going to run because, again, Isaiah Likely was out by a toe. I think I know.
We all know
Lamar
what kind of
Jackson,
play they were
QB
going to
keeper.
run. What kind of play were they going to run? That was a guarantee. That would have been an awesome play.
It would have been.
Because the Chiefs know what's coming. The Ravens know what's coming. Why, first of all, was it so obvious for John Harbaugh? I don't have the analytics in front of me to go for 2. I was actually surprised he was so confident about it.
Yeah, I vacillate on this. I think it's probably the smart move. You're going to try to extend the game against the Chiefs. Good luck
yeah, but
to
the
you.
Chiefs' defense was so tired.
They were.
That because they were on the field more. I was wondering if they were looking at that fatigue. If they'd gone to overtime, I think there's no way they stopped. Lamar's like, I don't care about my body anymore. I'm going to run every play.
Yeah, skinny Lamar now weirdly putting his body on the line. He did look elusive, but the other part, you're right about that. Now with these new overtime rules too, you have to match touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe that wasn't the smart. I got to think
Actually,
about
yeah.
that
Now that I think about it, like the Chiefs, like Chris Jones was sweating so much by that. He's awesome, but. I don't know. I think that you just don't go. I guess you don't want to go tete-a-tete with Mahomes in overtime. That's generally not a good formula.
Ask the 49ers about it. Andrew Bogish, we had to push the update. We're here. We have headlines. More on the game last night. What do you have, pal?
I'm Andrew Bogish. Let's start with Isaiah Likely's foot. If it was as big as yours, Maggie. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Maggie,
I would have been out of the end zone.
There'd been no debate. We would know for sure.
I'm out of the stadium.
She wouldn't have gotten in a Canadian Football League end zone with her feet. I mean, come on.
My feet, just it's the whole length of the end zone. Yeah. My giant water ski feet.
In this instance, just his one big toe was out of bounds, negating a 10-yard touchdown pass on the final play of opening night. As you guys just said, John Harbaugh was signaling for 2, so Baltimore would have gone for the win had the catch survived review.
I mean, I don't know what it looked like on the replay, so I can't say, but really couldn't tell on the big screen. You guys probably had a better viewpoint of it.
So the Chiefs get the 27-20 season opening win. Patrick Mahomes now 5-1 against Baltimore after throwing for 291 yards and a score. The big day for Rashee Rice, the 2 touchdowns from Xavier Worthy. Isaiah Pacheco ran for a touchdown. Andy Reid happy to be 1-0.
What a wild environment down there. It was 2 heavyweights in a fight right down to the end. And when they say it's a game of inches, it might be shorter than that.
Elsewhere, the Chargers have added Justin Herbert to their injury report, but he put in a full practice yesterday. Apparently, the league suggested they do that since Herbert missed so much time during training camp with that foot injury. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will always be connected. There will be plenty of legitimate, honest basketball discussions involving them as we move forward, but we should never go past that. But Reese says it does on the debut of her new podcast.
Her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful.
Specifically like this.
I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, follow me home. Like it's come down to that.
Reese also said that some people have created embarrassing AI pictures of her, posted them on social media, or family members have seen them. Other players have dealt with this. I guess this is a new way of messing with, I guess, female athletes specifically.
This happened to Taylor Swift, too. Do you guys remember that? It was pretty distasteful. I mean, there's a lot of Trump-Kamala stuff out there that's really weird. I don't know what the social media platforms do about that. You know,
about AI,
about these AI images. I mean, you have to be honest with the audience that this is computer generated, you know?
It's a huge problem. I mean, like think about Russia and election interference.
Yeah,
and
they're just talking about
capabilities
that.
with technology. Like it's almost endless, and it feels. What can you do? Nothing. I can't imagine.
It's got to be disturbing, though. And I know people are like, oh, it's just online, log off, and all that. But Angel Reese is saying people are coming to her house. I mean,
No. Right. That's. But I'm just saying, like, at the point when AI, people are not going to know what's real. Like, say somebody makes this fake Angel Reese video or has her saying something even worse. Oh, my God. Like, I think famous people are kind of vulnerable in that way, especially controversial ones. Not that she's controversial herself, but this is not good. I don't see an easy solution for Angel Reese. I don't think there's any way this gets better.
So do you guys remember, was it Dejanay Carrington? I forgot who it was who said that Caitlyn has a responsibility to try to talk to her fans. Because like Angel's saying, Caitlyn obviously is not about this. She doesn't want anyone being racist and weird and, on her behalf. Is there anything that Caitlyn can do? I don't know. But does she have to get out there and say, listen, I love that you guys are supporting me, but it's got to be about just supporting me, not threatening my rival?
Yeah, but does Caitlyn have to talk to these creeps? I don't think she likes them either, like whoever's threatening Angel Reese. And would it work? That's the other question.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're a lunatic enough to make up fake posters or pictures or go to somebody's house or write terrible things, you're not going to listen to someone telling you, please don't do this. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like,
but it's the person you're doing it on their behalf, allegedly, I guess.
But I mean, I guess, but I don't think Caitlin Clark has a responsibility to tell people to stop being bleeps.
Right.
But
where's the responsibility? Is it on the social media platforms? Is it on the person they're claiming to do this on their behalf? Is it on the government? Like, I don't know what we do here. Regulation? I don't know.
I think it's more on us in the audience. Like, just try to be a little critical of what you see. Like, stop believing everything. That everything you see is real. Like, don't just like have a second of like assessment of like, could this have possibly been real? Like, why would she say that? Why would she be doing that? Why is he like? At least think about something for a second.
Well, that being said, too, I know what you're saying, Bogish, but like AI is making things tricky. I mean, it's getting harder. Right. It's getting more challenging to figure out what's real by the day.
I know, and I'm sure we're all at some point gonna get fooled by something. But like
probably today.
But I got fooled by something yesterday. Can I tell you on a lighter note what I got fooled by?
Xavier Worthy.
Well, no, that's not a lighter note at all. That's a panic attack.
That's a national crisis for Maggie. Yeah.
No, it was like it was a post that someone was going to miss a game and the medical reason was an STD. My husband's like, did you see this? They're missing the game because of chlamydia. And I was like, that's fake.
Wait, what?
It was just a silly post. And for a second, I was like, wait a minute, is this person really going to miss the game because of STD? But no.
I would think that's true because it's not even funny. Like, I don't even understand. Like, why would someone post that?
Because they're just trying to be a jerk or trying to catch
That's odd.
Trying to get a laugh out of somebody.
Okay.
Anyway. What was the STD in question?
Chlamydia.
Was chlamydia?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
sounds like it
can
sucks.
I ask you? I don't remember because I haven't been
on an injury report.
No, God, no.
Non-COVID illness. The clap.
The clap.
Mike Tyson actually once won a boxing match because he said he had to finish it very fast because I think he had chlamydia and it was agitating him so much he had to get to a clinic.
So the clap is gonorrhea, right? And chlamydia. What's the nickname for chlamydia? Just chlamydia?
Does it have a nickname?
I don't think so, but I always get confused which one is the clap. Yeah, Pat.
That's not cool.
But so tell us.
Get vaccinated for what's the big one that people have to worry about?
There's a couple big ones. I don't know.
There's one that now my kids like
HPV.
HPV,
right? That's a big deal because it can become very dangerous, right? Anyway, we want to give a little PSA.
The more you know.
Yeah,
I don't know
Bogus. I think you thought chlamydia was the clap, right?
No, I didn't know what the clap.
Yeah,
the clap is funny. Like if you're trying to do something an STD joke, the clap is the first thing you got to go to.
Well,
I think gonorrhea is kind of funny too. By the way,
it's the great line in League of Their Own. It's like, hey, Jimmy, can we have your autograph? It's like, avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
Yeah. By the way, if there are kids in the car listening to us, don't worry, you'll find out in a few years what all this is.
Chlamydia has a few nicknames, including the clam and gooey stuff.
Ew, dude, don't say that out loud.
You asked for it.
I didn't.
I did. My fault.
Yeah, I got the gooey stuff.
Ugh.
I was laughing yesterday because there was Sunny D randomly in our break room. And I was like, oh, where's the purple stuff?
OJ, purple stuff, Sunny D. By the way, I don't. If Sunny D ever wanted to become like a sponsor on the show, we're all for you, but that stuff is heinous. Anyone who actually had Sunny D, that stuff is gross.
I thought everyone loved Sunny D.
No.
Like teenagers drink Sunny D like what used to, like water.
I thought it was gross.
No, give me the purple stuff.
Definitely the purple stuff.
Are you talking about lean? What are you talking about? Purple stuff?
Grape juice.
Yeah.
Like
grape soda.
Kool-Aid.
When you said purple stuff, I thought you were talking about purple drank too.
Yeah, have you not seen the commercial where the guy's going through the fridge? He's like, blah, blah, purple stuff,
Hey,
Sunny D.
Mom.
Oh, no.
Hey, Mom, I'm hungry. What do we got? OJ, purple stuff, Sunny D. No?
No.
I got you, Maggie.
Man, guys.
What a bad
Where
hour
were
from
you
Perloff.
in the 90s?
My question, when I go to the bathroom and it feels like fire, what do I have?
The clam.
The gooey stuff. Coming up next, more on the Chiefs being this year's boogeyman.
Boyle's got a secret, it's tucked away. Hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his date walks in, they don't know the deal. They're part of his own reality reel. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. Ready to shoot. If you're dating Pat, beware of the scene. Your night might end up on his secret screen. But one thing's for sure, you're in for a ride. With Boyle's hidden cameras, there's nowhere to hide. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. Pat Boyle's love life, it's all on tape. But don't you worry, you'll make your escape. Pat Boyle's got a secret, it's tucked away. Hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his date walks in, they don't know the deal. They're part of
Pat's out on the town trying to find the one. Swiping right and left, but he's just having fun. Dinner dates and wine, he's keeping it light. But there's a bigger question keeping him up at night. Is it time to give or time to wait? Does he help someone out or stick to his fate? He's living the life, but what does it mean when you're asked to be part of someone's baby dream? Pat Boyle's in a bind, what should he do? Should he be a donor or let love find him too? Coming from all his matches, but the sperm bank's off for man it catches. Could his DNA bring joy to a stranger's home? While Pat's still out there looking for his own. Is it time to give or time to wait? Does he help someone out or stick to his fate? He's living the life, but what does it mean when you're asked to be part of someone's baby dream? Pat Boyle's in a bind, what should he do? Should he be a donor or let love find him too? still alone in bed. The day seems wild, it's a crazy ride, but maybe this choice could give him some pride. So Pat's weighing options, it's a heavy lift. Could be in a donor, be the ultimate gift. Love may come and go, but here's the deal. Pat's decision might be more than just what he feels. Is it time to give or time to wait?
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One toe belonging to Isaiah Likely. That was a wild finish last night. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. If you happen to miss the season opener, it was, two teams with two MVP quarterbacks that I thought were, especially Lamar Jackson was trying to do everything to keep his team in this game. The Chiefs look very scary to me. They've picked up exactly where they left off. But the X's and O's of the whole thing is it came down to a final play where Lamar Jackson finds Isaiah Likely in the back of the end zone, Perloff, and literally his big toe is out of bounds. And you already had saw John Harbaugh when we thought the touchdown was going to stand saying, we're going for two. We're setting up for just an even crazier finish, but we will not know how that ever would have gone because Likely was just out of bounds.
Yeah, the Ravens have no one to blame but themselves because they were kind of a mess the whole game.
They were.
Sort of getting the team aligned. They had burned 2 timeouts on defense, so they had to rush at the end. The Chiefs defense was exhausted, and the Ravens, especially with Lamar just selling out to run the ball, could obviously move the ball and score. Now, here's the thing about that Raven. You cannot run Lamar Jackson 16 times a game. This is not sustainable. I think he was on a mission last night because he was still upset about the AFC title game. The broadcasters kept saying he was mad because he didn't run more aggressively against the Chiefs last year. He looked slow. This year he looked fast and good, but this is not... come on, Lamar, this is not sustainable. You're going to get hurt. You can't lower your shoulder into guys. At a certain point, you might want to try to have a more traditional offense and give the ball to Derrick Henry a little more. I was a little disappointed they got away from that. I know they were trailing, but you gotta feed that big guy right there. And he did look like he had a little juice left. I'm not sure that he's the old Derrick Henry, but he's better than Lamar running every time because Lamar's going to get hurt.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right about they're trailing by double digits in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. That's not exactly Derrick Henry time because he's running right in the middle of the line, and you had to burn the 2 timeouts
true.
because of your dysfunction on defense, not being able to get the right, get lined up correctly. And so Derrick Henry was just a bit of a moot point. He did score a touchdown, though, the first touchdown of the game. Let's hear from Lamar Jackson. He thought the likely catch should have been a touchdown.
Your perspective on that on Isaiah's touchdown?
You said it, James. I thought it was a touchdown. Though. I still think it's a touchdown.
Still think it's a touchdown. That one,
There's an argument. What's the argument? The banana-shaped cleat that Isaiah Likely had actually has some air between the bottom of the shoe and the white. Although there are camera angles where it looks like he's clearly on the white, then there's camera angles where he's just barely touching the white. So imagine if you're wearing a Dorothy from Wizard of Oz shoe that curves up at the front.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe it's special orthotics. I don't know.
It was called a touchdown on the field. So you know how that goes. The evidence has to be overwhelming to overturn it. And they thought there was enough. Listen, this is the part of replay that I think kind of stinks because you end up wiping out what could be an all-time play. Isaiah Likely made the athletic, starting with Lamar and then Likely, they made the athletic moves. They made the wow play, and then it's like a blade of grass, and that's why it's out. So but that just comes with replay in this day and age. We can see everything. Here's more from Lamar explaining what he saw on that final play.
I don't want to get it wrong, but it looked like 32 and 20 was like turning to like pursue him when he realized where the ball was going. So I threw it so he can like make a play on it, just so I don't throw it like a line drive to hit him in the face mask and they turn around and pick the ball. So I gave him the ball so he can jump a little bit. But I thought he did a great job, acrobatic catch, and I believe it was 2 feet in. I'm going to stand on that.
Man, I mean, tough, right? Yeah.
I do like it. He's like, I don't care what the replay said. I'm going to stand on a touchdown.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. He was out. I mean, you can say, I don't know how you justify that. I didn't see the curve in the shoe that you are seeing.
Well, no,
here.
I'm not saying I'm seeing that. I'm saying the argument is out there that maybe there was an inch between his foot and the blade of grass, but it was the right call. He was out of bounds. I'm not saying that weird shoe theory I had. That was a weird shoe theory. Let's be clear about that. Let me ask you a question. We talked about the Chiefs basically doing the same thing they did last year, keep on running after the Super Bowl win. What did you see from the Ravens? Because I'm not sure what to make of it. It felt a little bit like a preseason game. They couldn't line up in the right place.
Yep.
They kept on calling penalties on Ronnie Stanley or whoever. I'm not sure who got the...
Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, got three illegal formation calls on him. Now, he said after the game he thought that the league was actually making an example of him. He thought this was unfair, that actually the Chiefs' offensive line was doing a similar thing. The Chiefs' offensive linemen got called for a couple of them too. But yeah, they were definitely making a point of emphasis, and it did feel like it was very targeted towards the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. But here's a couple things of how the Baltimore Ravens, things that they need to clean up. Obviously, the illegal formation stuff. You can't have the turnover, in your own end zone where Lamar Jackson has a sack fumble. Obviously, the offensive line still getting to know each other. They had to burn 2 timeouts in the second half on defense, which is just a killer. And you also had Justin Tucker missed a 53-yarder, which is just automatic for him. And not only that, we're talking about Isaiah Likely and the play in the back of the end zone because of how spectacular and then controversial, I guess it was. Wide open Zay Flowers, the play before. Wide open. And Lamar missed him. And he would have just been all alone with a Chiefs receiver not within 2 arms lengths from him. So if you're the Ravens and you're asking me how do the Ravens feel, I think the Ravens feel probably just extremely disappointed that they weren't sharper. Because if they had any one of those things that I just mentioned, maybe, they get cleaned up. They are likely, winning this game if they have the ball last.
Yeah, but they have a mini bye here because they played on Thursday. Yeah. I don't think they're super depressed about this. I think they're going to be a really good team again. I know they lost some guys in the offseason. It feels like kind of the same Raiders team that we know. Ravens team, yeah. As long as Lamar Jackson's healthy, they're probably going to be a double-digit win team. Even you walk away from last night sad you didn't win in Kansas City, but I think there's reason oh, man, they're still really good. I mean, the defense is still very good. I know they didn't put as much pressure on Mahomes as they wanted to, but that's Mahomes. I think against normal teams, that Ravens team is going to win a lot of games.
855-212-4227. We got into a discussion about Xavier Worthy last hour because I've got someone new to haunt my nightmares. Hey, exciting player, that's for sure. The speed was there, not just 40 speed, it's the game speed. He scored 2 touchdowns last night, but Perloff was not very impressed.
It's not just me, Maggie. I put it out to the world to get some support. I put up my own poll question, worded as such on X. Xavier Worthy had 2 TDs, one on a reverse, one on a broken play. At Maggie Gray says he's Tyreek Hill 2.0.
Yeah.
Is that an overreaction? 70% say yes, 30% say no. Frank tweets back, Tyreek Hill's biceps and upper body, even his legs, are all twice of Worthy. Worthy is more John Ross than Tyreek Hill.
Okay, here's the thing, Frank. Let's talk about Tyreek Hill game 1 of his NFL career. Not Tyreek Hill now, offensive player of the year candidate, 2,000 yards receiving, likely all that stuff. Let's talk about how they were using him when he first got to Kansas City, and that looks like how they used Xavier Worthy last night.
Bernie account tweets, 3 O-linemen plus 2 wide receivers block on that reverse TD. Perloff could have scored on that play. I will tell you one thing about
doesn't have the
we
wheels.
generally, all right, Xavier Worthy, that was incredibly impressive, by the way. On that reverse, it was like a flash of lightning, but that was a sick play call. And I think it was Noah Gray was out flying up there blocking. Like, that was a team touchdown, too. It's like,
yes,
the
I can
match
still be impressed by it.
I will give you, I think the match with the Chiefs is really good with Xavier Worthy.
Yes.
If Xavier Worthy was on the Bills, he wouldn't scare me at all. Do you disagree with that?
No, I do disagree
honestly, I
with
think
that.
they need Keon Coleman more than they need a guy who could get a first down there. They have no wide receivers. I think a special weapon like Xavier Worthy. I don't know the Bills. How would they use him? I'm not sure he would have fit them. I think he fits the Chiefs better.
Yeah, nobody wants fast wide receivers.
I don't know. It's Buffalo. It's cold, Maggie. You got to move the chains.
Yeah, thanks.
The
reason why this even matters with the Bills specifically is because the Bills traded with the Chiefs during the draft and traded back into the second round and basically handed the Chiefs Xavier Worthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Bills were not going to take Xavier Worthy. They didn't need him, right?
Well, they said that they didn't think anyone had a first-round grade on them still at 28 where they were picking, and I think that's going to end up being wrong.
Right, but
Xavier Worthy is this big difference maker for the Chiefs. He's going to be obvious that they should have taken him in the first round. If he adds this dynamic part of their offense.
He was. I wasn't there, but the Bills had no interest in taking Xavier. They could have taken him.
Not.
They needed a big receiver.
They wanted a big possession receiver.
They needed somebody because they let Diggs go. So we'll see how this all plays out. Maybe Keon Coleman's, he's, by the way, the best interview in the NFL. Does that count for anything?
No, absolutely not.
He's super, super cool.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. I can't wait for his commercials with Macy's. It's going to be dope. David is in the Big Easy, wants to talk about Xavier Worthy. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Maggie, Perloff. I just want to give you my perspective on last night. I'm almost a Saints fan, but as far as this goes, Perloff, you mentioned earlier that they had an argument that because of the size of the shoe, there was air between the back of the end zone. Well, wouldn't the same principle be when somebody's trying to reach out to cross the plane into the end zone? Isn't there air between the ball and the ground? And they still give them the touchdown if you break the plane. Well, there's no argument there. It's the same principle.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, by the way, David, it was a stretch to say the curvature of likely shoe. I mean, I was trying to find some way to keep the Ravens alive. No,
yeah, you said like the Wicked Witch of the West,
but
like however you go up, like some kind of elf shoe.
But
I didn't see it.
I disagree a little bit. If say for some reason his ankle was on the ground and his feet were pointing up, I think the foot has to touch the white. It doesn't matter if it's over the white.
Well, we see that sometimes with the heels,
yeah,
where the
exactly.
heel is up and the person, still gets credit for the catch or what have you. But I get what Lamar Jackson is talking about. He's like, I still think it was a touchdown, but he's just wrong here. It was out. It's a shame, but he's wrong.
It's the same. And as far as Worthy goes, I understand both y'all arguments on this, but the fact is that they did not have this last year. And any threat of a long, a wideout that has speed, you're going to force the safeties to stay put versus come down.
Yeah.
And that right there alone is the threat, Perloff, and which they didn't have last year.
Who caught the last touchdown of the NFL season last year, David?
I'm sorry?
Who caught the last touchdown? Who was the last play of the NFL season last year? It was McCole Hardman. They've had a ton of these guys. Xavier Worthy's just a little faster than the rest of them.
A little?
I mean, you have to still account for that little.
Literally the fastest guy in the league.
Is he closer?
By the 40.
I think he's...
Ever.
I think he's closer to John Ross and Tyreek Hill. I agree with that tweet. And John Ross would have been awesome on the Chiefs. Just so we're clear about that, too.
It was nice talking to y'all. Y'all have a good show, and I'll be listening.
David, and when we talk about the Saints, which we will talk about, because when they eventually move to Spencer Rattler, it's going to be a very big story. So keep our number on speed dial, because that will become a story this year.
Everyone's betting against, I saw something on Derek Carr is the worst week one quarterback in the history of the NFL, basically. So there's a good reason to bet against the Saints. But just when you count Derek Carr out, it's when he goes out there and throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you, don't try to predict Derek Carr. It's like predicting the weather, Maggie. It's impossible.
You are welcome to weigh in on what we saw last night. Xavier Worthy, what he adds to the Chiefs, and then obviously a bit of a controversial play at the very end. Lamar Jackson is maintaining it was a touchdown. Sure. I mean, if I were him, I might take that tact as well, but it was out of the back of the end zone. We were also talking last hour about Angel Reese on a podcast, Perloff, just to switch gears for a second to the WNBA. Angel Reese, as a podcast, said that while she knows that Caitlin Clark is not responsible for this and not signing off on it, but Caitlin Clark's fans have been, some of them on social media have really crossed the line. Racist things, weird artificial intelligence, AI-generated images that have been very disturbing, on top of coming to her house, and trying to confront her in person. We're asking whether Caitlin has a responsibility to try to tell her fans, don't do this on my behalf, and if that would even be effective. Rock is in Atlanta, wants to weigh in on it. Good morning, Rock. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are y'all doing this morning?
We're doing great. We got the NFL back. We got college football this weekend. We're going to make our picks a little bit later on in the show. We have our celebrity guest picker segment is back.
You just said good.
Okay.
We're
doing great.
I just wanted to mention that, we all have, especially as a celebrity athlete or whatever, higher up with a big fan base, I think it takes little effort, and if you think that I'm wrong, then, I understand. But anybody that doesn't want to get out in front of anything dealing with racism, I'm not saying that she's that. I totally don't think that she's that person. But at the same time, your silence is telling, too. So not saying that, all she has to do is say, hey, I don't condone. It takes little effort to get out in front of something and say, hey, I do not condone this. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like she does have a responsibility to get out and say, hey, I don't condone this hatred towards anybody, especially one of my rivals. It takes no effort to just say, hey, I don't agree with that. So what's so hard about getting in front of it and distancing yourself?
You're absolutely right. To be fair to Caitlin, when she was pressed on this by Jim Trotter, who's a fantastic reporter, Perloff and I both work with him at Sports Illustrated with The Athletic, she did say, I don't condone this. I don't want anyone doing this on my behalf.
Hey, I not condone this.
Rock, thank you very much. I'm sorry, but the radio's up, so it's going to be hard to hear. So she did do that, but maybe there's a question, is she doing enough? Pearl, your point is, you don't even want to give any oxygen to these to the people who are doing this, right? Should Caitlin just ignore them, not even give them any credence, don't even pay them any attention? Do you give them life even just by acknowledging them?
Possibly, yeah. But first of all, I don't think it would be effective because these people sound like creeps anyway.
They're just crazy, racist.
Second of all, Caitlin Clark it's a tough job she's got. Coming in, she's 23, I imagine, being the face of college basketball, then going to WNBA and just trying to be a pro in this league. I'm not sure that she knows how to do this effectively. And I think a very young athlete, that's a fine line. Yes, she could come out and say this, but I don't know that she really has that skill set, right? As a 23-year-old athlete, to take on something like that, that's a hard assignment.
Let's give her some credit. I think that she's handled these questions, and by the way, she's going to get asked about it now. So the fact that Angel put this out there, she's going to get asked about it, and I would imagine she's also going to, condemn it. I think that she's going to say, don't do this. I don't support any of this. And hopefully her supporters listen to that. But I think you're talking about people who are so far gone. If you're out there doing racist things towards Angel Reese on social media, you are not an adjusted person. You have screws totally loose here. And that's not normal behavior. Maybe people don't like that word normal, but you're so far out of bounds to be doing stuff like that. But yeah, she should definitely come out and condemn it, and I'm sure she will.
I'm not sure that's as easy as you say. For example, let's take LeBron James. It took him a long time to find his voice on these kind of issues because I think it's a really hard job to become a pro and compete on an everyday basis. You got to keep your head down and sort of focus on your job.
Yeah, but condemning racism, that should be top of everybody's mind.
Yeah, but,
that's not taking a political stance or something. That's just as human beings,
But how is she supposed to do it? Just call a press conference and condemn racism?
No, I think that she'll be asked about it in a media scrum. People are going to ask about this for Angel, and I know you're saying this is hard for Caitlin to deal with. It's harder for Angel to deal with. She's the one on the receiving end of all this stuff.
But I'm just saying, but the caller, and I think you kind of agree with that, is that Caitlin Clark should make statements to get out there ahead of it.
Well, now that...
And she's never,
maybe just...
I don't know.
Well, now that we have this from Angel, right? So Angel has said this, right? That she's getting these racist
she's
things.
said this for months now.
Right. And so now we have another instance of her doing it, of her saying it and revealing this to everyone. So, yes, I think Caitlin should react to it. Absolutely. And condemn it.
But this specific thing, like, so she should volunteer it.
I mean, now that Angel has put it out there, I think she should.
Yeah, I mean, she will, though. She's never, ever said anything that wasn't completely supportive of Angel Reese.
That's true.
She's never, like, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like you're saying, do you guys remember? You probably don't remember. I saw it in a documentary when Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons said Larry Bird, if he wasn't white, would just be an average player in the NBA. The NBA made Isaiah and I think Mark Aguirre sit in a press conference and talk about it.
I do remember that.
Like, so is that what we're saying, that Caitlin Clark has to do a press conference with Angel Reese? Said, like, first of all, to me, it's like so obvious that Caitlin Clark is not about this. Like, and Angel Reese says it too. Like, honestly, I'm not sure it's her job to get out and hold a press conference and say, you have to stop doing this to my supporters, because those aren't her real. She doesn't really connect with those people. Like, those aren't her real supporters. Whoever is out there sending death threats to Angel Reese.
I mean, it's that's fringe people.
Honestly, like, I feel like it's just so egregious that it's not Caitlin Clark's job to talk to those people, in my opinion. But I totally understand what you're saying. But I do think she's 23 and adjusting to WNBA, and that is hard. So to bring on an extra level of this might be too difficult for a young athlete.
EJ, you wanted to say something here.
Yeah, I just think that when we think about this, remember, Clark, yes, they're her contemporaries and they're her rivals, but they are her colleagues in this league, right? So when we say, well, what responsibility does she have? If there's something being done on your behalf and it is racist or it is sexist or it is misogynistic or it is somehow dangerous, because when Angel Reese is talking about people following her to her home, that becomes dangerous. Do you not then have a responsibility to protect your colleagues and say, hey, like, you please don't do this on my behalf? I mean, Caitlin Clark has millions upon millions of followers on social media. It doesn't take much for her to put out an Instagram post or to put something saying, hey, like, you know, in light of what we're hearing about some of the things happening with Angel Reese that's being done on my behalf, please don't do that. And I do want to say, Maggie, yes, she did have the statement to Jim Trotter, but her first statement when she was asked about this was more like, I play basketball, that's my job, I don't see any of that stuff. I think that's where some of this contempt we talk about happens with Caitlin Clark sometimes, is this idea that these things that people who are very online see, and unfortunately you have these young women in the WNBA, they're very online.
Yeah.
It's very easy to see the stuff that's out there. I see it every day.
Yeah.
And for her to sometimes, it feels like sometimes she has her head in the sand when she doesn't say something. So when you say, am I being an ally for my fellow colleague when they're experiencing abuse, by saying nothing, it suggests not that you support it, but that you have no interest in fixing the problem. If they feel like it is a problem.
That is true. But I would say that was a mistake that I think she tried to correct very quickly, like literally in the same day, you know, and in the second media scrum.
It was very soon.
Very soon after. So like I condemn it. And I would guess, we don't know, we're probably going to find out today or thereabouts. I don't think she's going to do the I'm just here to play basketball thing again. I think that she would, with this kind of pointed thing that Angel's saying, I'm being threatened and these are people on behalf of Caitlin, I don't think she's going to do the I'm just playing basketball again. I think she's going to say, I condemn it. I'm not about this. Please don't do this on my behalf. But we're going to find out.
But wait, is there anything new with Angel Reese said? Is this the same thing from last time? Or I thought this has been going on.
I think it's just continuing to happen.
Right.
855-212.
Sorry, the other thing too is Angel saying that's now happening to other players. Like, you know, in college, it was essentially just Angel Reese really dealing with this. Caitlin didn't have any other rivals. Now this is being anybody who was seen as a threat or seen as someone who was attacked Caitlin Clark, they're now getting the brunt of this too. And I think that's where it becomes a more wider issue.
855-212-4227. Okay, so we got a game last night. It was crazy. Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds, and that was basically the difference. And it was a wild game. We also have some news for you coming out of Pittsburgh and what's going on with the quarterback situation. If you thought that drama was resolved, think again. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes,
4 minutes remaining.
Carry on high, where the nerds stayed low. Perloff was a bookworm, but Ernest ran the show. A football star with muscles and a menacing glare. But little did he know, Perloff didn't care. Oh, Ernest Pendleton, king of the school. You thought you were tough, but who's the real fool? Perloff's on the airwaves, making people laugh, while you're just a tale from Lower Marion's past. Ernest had the glory, the girls and the fame, but Perloff had the brains, and he played a different game. Now he's on the radio with his nerdy charm, and Ernest is just a memory, no cause for alarm. Oh, Ernest Pendleton, king of the school.
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
And he played a different game. Now he's on the radio with his nerdy charm, and Ernest is just a memory, no cause for alarm. Oh, Ernest Pendleton, king of the school. You thought you were tough, but who's the real fool? Perloff's on the airwaves, making people laugh, while you're just a tale from Lower Marion's past.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Last segment, we were talking about the latest WNBA headline. Angel Reese has a podcast and was talking about some of the really terrible things that people are writing to her, and people have her home address and not good things. What, if any, response should Caitlin Clark have?
Yeah, Caitlin. Well, Angel's saying that these are Caitlin's fans who are writing mean things, racist things, not just mean, racist and misogynistic, but also coming up with like weird AI photos and everything, and kind of doing it on Caitlin's behalf. And so what's Caitlin's responsibility here? You know, to come out and tell her fans Like, knock it off. And would that even work? Raphael's in San Diego has a thought on this. Good morning, Raphael.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're great. What's up?
Happy Friday.
You too.
You know, my thing is, could it be Caitlin Clark's fans, or could it just be people that have agendas to, you know, entice fear or, you know, just do things to, you know, like I said, bring fear to her. You know, you also have to think about that because it may not necessarily be Caitlin Clark's fans. And even if she would to go, you know, do a press conference and just say she doesn't condone it, what makes people think that they're going to listen to what she has to say?
Well, yeah, like if you're already doing this, Raphael, to your point, if you're already somebody who's online writing something racist to Angel Reese, like, are you so you're a fringe, you're fringe, you know? Are you? There's something weird about that. That's not normal discourse and behavior. And so, would you actually listen to Caitlin Clark? And then that's an interesting point: is it people posing as Caitlin Clark fans and just want to write something racist and awful to a professional athlete, you know?
Totally.
Yeah, because, tablets, computers, anything, that's a powerful weapon.
Yeah.
Anybody can manipulate that. Anybody can do anything. Like, for example, like you said, the artificial intelligence, graphics, all that stuff. You can do anything. That's like a powerful weapon. Like, you can just type something up, whatever, and make some something random, and people will buy into it.
Well, not only that, it's like, even if you know it's like fake, right? And it's obviously fake, there's also something like you can't unsee it. You know, even if you know it's fake, there's like an image that could stay with you. I remember those Taylor Swift photos that came out. It's like, they were just very disturbing. She's like covered in blood. I mean, it was very, very weird. And they're clearly fake. But I saw them. It's almost like in a police courtroom drama where they're like, strike that from the record. But the jury already heard it, or whatever. So, Raphael, it's an interesting point. Maybe the way that we solve this, and this is a much bigger thing that we're not going to solve on our sports talk radio show this morning in the sandbox of life that we get to luckily live in, but just trying to get rid of anonymous accounts. Like, if you actually had to put your name to it, I don't think people would say it out loud. Now, some people would. Some people are just overtly racist and misogynistic. But if you had to be accountable for what you said and what you put on social media, does that take care of some of this?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's a hypothetical that doesn't even matter at this point because it's never going to happen.
Yeah. Andrew Bogish has headlines. We're just trying to save the world here, Bogish. I mean, give us solutions.
Why is Pat Boyle here today? Headlines are sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season's here, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Download Prize Picks and use code M&P to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
By the way, winner last night on Prize Picks.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry over half a touchdown, rushing or receiving. First touchdown of the game. Thank you, Pat, for the round of applause. That was a tough one. I'm like, oh, you want to give me a Derrick Henry over touchdown prop? And it's at half? Thank you.
Yeah.
How'd you do on your Prize Picks, bro?
Let's move on. Okay. I don't really know what we're talking about here. There are headlines to go to. I mean, come on. You're not going to throw the ball to Travis Kelce? He's just a pretty boy out there blocking and waving to his girlfriend.
Speaking of tight ends, I mean, Greg Roman, Todd Monken, change the name, doesn't matter. What are they doing to my guy Mark Andrews? Get him the rock.
First of all, we forget he was kind of hurt a few weeks ago, and the Chiefs, I was reading about this, their number one plan is stop Mark Andrews. Yeah. So then Isaiah Likely's running around wild.
Also, he slipped at one point. He was wide open with all this green grass in front of him, but he just slipped.
That was a huge play.
No, but I saw the same that Pearl did, that apparently the Chiefs wanted anybody other than Mark Andrews to beat them last night.
Well, Isaiah Likely almost did.
Yeah.
Besides a big toe.
I had forgotten that people were saying that Mark Andrews car wreck, which we had as a headline, I think, but we didn't really focus on, was a big deal, a bigger deal than we thought. That he was kind of banged up a little bit there, too. Missed some practice.
I just submitted a waiver claim for Isaiah Likely because he went undrafted.
So, yes, don't even get me started.
Speaking of Isaiah Likely, his shoe size wouldn't matter this morning if Lamar Jackson made a better decision and or throw on the Ravens' second-to-last play on opening night at Arrowhead. Baltimore's QB missing a wide-open Zay Flowers in the end zone.
I tried to get out of the pocket, and I seen Bateman, flying across, so I'm thinking Bateman going to stop. And as I'm throwing the ball, I see Zay flying across. I'm like, So, yeah, I was teed off about that because I'm like, if I would have held on to it a little bit more, I would have just fired it to Zay.
So he wanted Rashad Bateman. Then he saw Flowers. He connected with neither one of them. Then likely caught Lamar's final throw, but review confirmed his toes came down out of bounds. So the Ravens lose 27-20. Lamar 0-1 this season, 1-5 against the Chiefs. But
and for us to lose to those guys and the way we lost, even though I don't want to lose, but I can't be mad at my guys because he battled.
Jackson threw for 273 yards and a score while running for 122. Xavier Worthy sucked for the Chiefs, scoring only twice on 3 touches in his KC debut.
According to Perloff, not impressed.
Now we get to the game that we've all been waiting for. It's finally almost here. Eagles and Packers in beautiful Sao Paulo. Still waiting to hear how the weather conditions today in Brazil will cause a Philly collapse in December. Either way, government officials said Wednesday they were increasing and adding security measures in the wake of players expressing their concerns with the safety of the city.
Well, I mean, honestly, last year you got mad at me because I said the Eagles were tired because they faced so many hard teams. This is a legit excuse. They're taking a 10-hour flight to the most humid place on the east side. They have a real excuse.
Western Hemisphere?
We were mad because you said the dry heat of Arizona in February made them start 10-1 and then fall apart.
Wait, I said it. Well,
yeah.
We have to start a segment. Perloff's reminded of things he said.
That being said, was I wrong?
Yes, they did collapse.
They collapsed. They had to play all these hard teams last year, and they got really tired.
Coach and quarterback hate each other.
It might have had a little to do with that.
But they were still sunburned from the Super Bowl.
By the way, fatigue is a real thing. Did you watch that game last night? By the end of the game, everybody was dying.
Yeah, fatigue's real.
And you go down to Sao Paulo, you play a football game, and tell me that you're not going to be dehydrated for a week.
You know what's funny is like the opposites of, them saying they need more security and everyone's worried about not being safe. And then I'm getting all these videos of just like Eagles players dancing like samba.
Right.
Like everyone looks like they're having a great time.
In the stadium, though. That was on the side of practice. You don't see them out in the
They're
city.
not going out. They're going to all be holed up in their hotel rooms.
That was, by the way, a very entertaining video. But you did notice, like, usually that would be in the heart of some market. And they're just sitting there next to their practice field. Like, they had to bring in the band. It is probably weird down there. This
is the lamest trip to Brazil that anyone's ever taken.
Also, by the way, Mike Tirico, I understand like the selling of the Peacock only thing was over the top last night.
I mean, he's working for the company.
Right. I understand, but geez.
What is he going to say? Like, tune in, I guess.
I don't know. It just
he's got to sell it.
$4.99. That's too,
I don't know.
Too expensive.
I thought
guys, you could just cancel it after the game.
I thought NBC over-marketed the Peacock thing. I really do. I was like, people are not going to like this.
Would you rather have had Collinsworth selling it? Now, here's an app.
Yeah, here's an app.
It's only $7.99. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Are you really complaining about Peacock overselling Peacock?
Well, NBC overselling Peacock. Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Well, the over-the-air network, like, dude, it was just a giant Peacock commercial. Like, ABC doesn't. The other networks aren't that naked about it. Like, ESPN doesn't sell their app 100%. Like, they must have 50.
Yeah, ESPN never advertises.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are right. Like, there was nothing obvious and not everyone on the internet complaining about it was. Yeah, of course you agree because you watch the game. Like, Tirico was like, get the Peacock app. Like, it's a key third down play. Let's stop talking about the Peacock app for 1 second and start talking about the game.
He once pointed at the QR code. I think he did it multiple times. Yeah, like literally, he's like, "Hey, this thing right ahead of me. Yeah, use that and download that." I was like, "Okay, guy, we get it."
Hey,
I love
it's Mike Tirico. Who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong? I mean, maybe we should be talking more about our amazing podcast, which you can find wherever you get your podcast. By the way,
scan this QR code if we had one.
Maggie and Perloff on YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNet.
Guys, new day, new battle between current and former NBA players. Complex Magazine had a Q&A with Shaq, and one of those Qs was the worst player in the league right now.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh, my God. I knew he was going to say Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
He's worse than Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons is another bum.
All right, we understand why Simmons is a bum, but why the Gobert hate?
I'm going to tell you what. If you sign a contract for $250, show me $250. It's the reason why I walk funny and why I can't turn my neck and why I can't do it because I played for my 120. So you got guys like him that the system over. They're making all this money and they can't play. So I don't respect guys like that. Like every time I make these comments, people think I'm hating, but these are facts. You got teachers, you got firemen, you got doctors who have real jobs and don't get paid.
Now, in Gobert's defense, he makes $205 million, not $250 million.
How's he getting by?
I don't know.
Back-to-back days of Charles Barkley and now Shaq saying some of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Also, Gobert plays. Like, you might not like, Perloff always complains because he is ineffective in the playoffs and all that stuff, and that's fine to have the basketball criticism. But he played 76 games, 70, 66. He's not someone who's, 66 is not that much, but he's playing, no?
Gobert's the worst. They'd be better off to put the mascot in the game. That guy's hands, I have terrible hands in basketball. The amount of things that he does to ruin Anthony Edwards, I hate it. I hate Gobert.
Okay, that's fine. You can have the basketball criticism, but he plays. It's not like he's not playing.
He's one of the best defensive players the last 15 years.
Which is ironic. You have to take him off the court because he's such a stiff when you get him into the pick and roll. He is a fraud. I mean, Shaq is so right. I can't stand that guy's game.
I'm sorry. I'm getting tired of this Rudy Gobert over the top nonsense, and it's coming from Shaq.
Scrub.
It's coming from no. I'm tired, and not you, Perloff, necessarily. I'm not really because people we have our opinions, whatever. But these former players, some of these current players, getting after Rudy Gobert, it's getting out of hand, and I feel to me it's starting to become almost bully-like when we're talking about a guy who's a role player. Like, we're not talking about a guy who's averaging 25 points a game. We're not talking about a guy who can actually go out there and score 30 and 15 like Shaq wants. And I really think, to be honest, that these guys are talking this stuff about Rudy Gobert because they don't think he could fight. I'm sorry. There are guys, if they thought Rudy Gobert had hands, they would not be talking about this man so crazy. The guy is a defensive player of the year. The guy is 7 feet tall. He blocks some shots. We know he's not a good offensive player. Like, he can't defend himself. Like, why do we keep talking about this guy who we know is limited? I don't understand.
It's a fair criticism. I think it's things that have nothing to do with Rudy. He's not going to turn down the money. That'd be silly. And he doesn't determine how many draft picks he gets traded for. And that trade was lopsided and it looked silly and it was not worth it. But that's not Gobert's fault. But the idea that somehow Gobert would actually fight Shaquille O'Neal is insane.
And that's why I think Shaq keeps saying it. Because it's getting to a point where it goes beyond basketball to me. Bullying. When I hear this, when I hear the stuff Draymond said, when I hear the stuff Shaq said, Rudy Gobert is not the worst player in the NBA. Give me a break. He's better than 95% of the centers in the NBA. If you watch centers play in the NBA today, they all stink. Yeah.
I'd rather have a Plumlee brother on there. I think Gobert's a huge.
He is 5,000 times better than.
Dude, he didn't even play
the Plumlee's brother, the Plumlee's son, the Plumlee's uncle, the Plumlee's cousin.
He didn't even make a break. He was on the bench for the France team. Like, he is the most overrated $50 million player in the history of all professional sports. It's the money. Maggie, you said this yesterday. The old players resent the money. The new players are making. And Rudy Gobert is the poster child for getting overpaid.
So Rudy Gobert responded on Twitter. I don't know if you were going to say this, Boke. Sorry, but he said it's sad to see someone that's accomplished as much as you did, Shaq, both in sports and business, still be triggered by another man's finances and accomplishments. I get the entertainment part, but unlike other folks, you don't need that stuff to stay relevant.
If he didn't stink, then we would have gotten Anthony Edwards in the finals. I'm totally with Shaq, and I'm always with Shaq.
Anthony Edwards got worked by Kyrie Irving. Awful. It's Anthony Edwards' fault in the finals.
Like, what? Yeah, why? And I'm sorry about this, too. When it comes to the T-Wolves, why is it always everyone else's fault except for Anthony Edwards? Anthony Edwards can say every other old player stinks, but when he got outplayed by Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, now it's his cat's fault. It's Rudy Gobert's fault. It's Jaden McDaniels' fault. What about the guy who's the star?
Dude, he's playing 60 minutes a game. It was ridiculous. He had to carry the whole team the whole day. Got exhausted.
Every other star in the NBA, we say, hey, why did that guy get it done? With the T-Wolves, it's always these guys that Anthony Edwards that are failing him. I don't understand it. They're role players. They're not that good.
I thought that Anthony Edwards, the shine came off a little bit after how they lost to Dallas. But no, people love him. People love him.
There's no shine off. That guy is a superstar. And if you take the shine off, that's a mistake. He is going to dominate the NBA next year.
That's fine, but he was being compared to Jordan. Like, legitimately. And then all of a sudden they ran into Luka and Kyrie, and it was like, oh, actually, maybe not.
Oh, man. You guys... To take Gobert all you want, give me Anthony Edwards. That's all I will say.
I'm not picking Rudy Gobert over Anthony Edwards.
That's not the setup here. It's Edwards over Jordan.
I just heard in this segment that Rudy Gobert is underrated and Anthony Edwards is overrated. That's what I heard.
Those words did not come out of anybody's mouth.
They came pretty close.
We've got to take a...
I got to tell you very quickly that
go.
a Buffalo native, Jessica Pegula. She's in the U.S. Open final now, a 3-set win last night over Karolina Muchova. It's the first major final for Pegula, and she will face second-seeded Arina Sabalenka tomorrow night. Now, the men's semifinals are today. We've got Tiafoe and Fritz in one of them, so we're guaranteed an American man in the final on Sunday. First U.S. Open since 2002 that'll have an American in each of the singles finals.
Grit.
Oh, can't wait.
It's called grit, guys. Jessica Pegula didn't have it. She had to dig down deep. Her opponent also... was a little sick.
Yeah, her opponent had some tummy problems. The last match, I was worn out, but every commercial flipped over. I had the best time. So psyched for tonight. I know, Bogus, you must be thrilled.
Can't wait.
Fritz Tiafoe.
I almost didn't come in today.
Awesome.
Bogues,
Just to get ready?
Tailgating.
Who do you think wins?
Fritz? Tiafoe.
Yeah, I think so. I think Fritz, from a betting perspective, I think Fritz is way too giant of a favorite. I don't care if he's beaten him 6 times in a row. It's minus 300 on the money line. This is a coin flip when you consider U.S. Open semis. Crowd's going to be into it.
Crowd's going to be behind Tiafoe, too.
Yeah.
And also, every time they play, it's close. It's just Fritz has won, but it's not like these have been walkovers, you know. Exciting. Okay, 855-212-4227. I'm so glad you got that in. Thank you for doing that. Coming up, we will get to the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation drama. Shocker. We'll get to it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute sponsored by Napa Auto Parts.
Tomlin's found a new way. No more curmudgeon takes to make.
Was perfect on top of this game, but Maggie and Perloff played a different name. Caught up with Kevin Bubber, the kicker of lore, but where was Peter Bellotti? He's out the door. Peter Bellotti, where could he be? Off on an adventure, sipping iced tea. Never at his desk, always on the run. Works a suggestion, not something he's done. Is tired, he's done with the show, but Peter Bellotti's got places to go. Is he on a beach or out for a cruise? Peter's always missing, it's old news. Peter Bellotti, where could he be? Off on an adventure, sipping iced tea. Never at his desk, always on the run. Works a suggestion, not something he's done. Hiking up in the hills, or just avoiding those office drills. But when it's time to work, don't even try. Peter's on a break, just waving goodbye. Peter Bellotti, where could he be? Off on an adventure, sipping iced tea. Never at his desk, always on the run. Works a suggestion, not something he's done.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. If you thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation was settled, because they went with Russell Wilson to start, well, record scratch, because it looks like that calf issue that suffered, but that appeared because he was pushing a sled during a conditioning test. It forced him to miss a lot of practice time. It looks like that calf issue is back.
I think it is suffered if you're pushing a sled, and that's a legit injury.
Yeah. Suffered feels a little strong, but he endured it, experienced it.
What's it? I don't understand. You're saying it's lame that it happened because he was pushing a sled? That's what I'm hearing.
It's just not, it's a calf strain. I feel like you suffer a torn ACL. You suffer an Achilles. Anyway, that's not the point. Anyway, he's got an issue with the calf. It's lingering, and now the Steelers have a decision to make. Mike Tomlin's saying all the right things. Oh, this doesn't change the game plan. I mean, dude, you're not fooling anybody. This is a huge, huge development.
Well, I don't know if it is, because I watched Russell Wilson last year. He can't move anyway. He's slow and old.
Is he going to play? I mean,
well, that's the thing. The way I was reading this story, there was nowhere did anyone say he's not going to play, which was weird to me. I thought, okay, are we going to say, Tomlin going to say, well, Fields will be ready to go? I didn't see that yet. Well, so I read it as if, okay, he's hurt, but for some reason they're not even talking about Fields.
I just think if whatever packages you have for Fields, do you double the amount? Are you tripling the amount? Because now, yes, Russell Wilson doesn't move well. We all know that. But you don't want him moving even worse with a calf. And by the way, how are you going to manage this? Because calf issues are clearly tricky. They rear their ugly heads over and over again. And we're just starting the season. See, to me, it was always should have gone the opposite way. They should have started Fields, and they should have had Russell Wilson as the healthier option at the end of the season when you inevitably need two quarterbacks, it seems, to get through a season anyway.
Yeah, how's that island with that take going on, by the way?
Not great, but if someone would just listen to me, I think it could be a lot easier.
I just think the awkwardness of Russell Wilson on the bench, nobody wants to see that, Maggie.
Well, now he has a calf, so you
but being benched for Justin Fields and sitting there looking poor or whatever, like Mike Tomlin did not do it. I mean, you have to admit, the visuals of Russell Wilson getting benched are going to be awful.
I watched it last year. I already saw the visuals.
Yeah,
I saw it last year when Denver Broncos put him on the bench because they didn't want him to get hurt because they didn't want the injury guarantees to kick in.
Yeah, and it was not fun to watch for a potential future Hall of Famer to get benched and get yelled at by his coach. That whole situation was a mess. I think Tomlin said, you're starting when he signed him, so we knew this was happening all along.
855-212-4227. Phil is in Pennsylvania. Phil,
crap.
we don't have a lot of time, but we want to get to you. How you doing, dude?
Good. Well, they replaced the CBS network with a 4-letter network that I'm not going to name.
How dare
I've
they?
been able to listen to you guys that much.
The free
And
Odyssey
Perloff, I haven't
app.
forgotten what you owe me.
Super easy to download.
Yeah.
Odyssey app. You can take it anywhere you go.
Phil, I owe you something, don't I? Please, we got you something, didn't we?
No.
You got me absolutely nothing except for, by looks at me, it looks like you won the bet, not me.
Your Randall Cunningham jersey is still hanging in our office. It's there. Perloff thought he lost it. We never lost it. We have it, and we are still efforting to get it signed by Randall.
Yes. This year, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. We're going to get it done.
Well, I was thinking maybe, you don't have a lot of, grace with me. I was thinking maybe switch out the bet for something else.
What do you want?
I think he wants his jersey back.
Not right away, but I would like him to give me back the jersey in person while taking me to an Eagles game.
Oh, okay. Wait, Phil, we're going to put you on hold. We're up against the top of the hour.
I'm
glad
have to run into
Phil
work,
is
so I'll call back some other time.
You're the best,
Awesome, Phil.
Find us on the Odyssey app. Best
Will
place
do.
to do it. I'm glad he's holding us accountable, especially you.
You're in a 5-minute break.
And a bogus had a plan. And a bogus had a plan. And a bogus had a plan. On a sunny afternoon, grabbed a bat and took the field under the summer moon. He said, Jack, let's show 'em how the bogus boys can play. But little did they know he had whiskey in his sway.
Oh, Andrew Bogus swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat.
Jack's team was laughing as Dad took his stance, wobbling at the plate in a tipsy baseball dance. The coach was shaking his head, moms were all aghast, but Andrew Bogus grinned, living in the past.
Oh, Andrew Bogus swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogus swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. He hit a grounder to the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst. Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead.
To the shortstop, tried to make it to first, but he tripped over his own feet. Oh man, it was the worst.
Jack was on the mound, his face turning red. Come on, Dad, get up, this game's far from dead. Oh, Andrew Bogus swaying side to side with a bottle in his hand. He gave it a good try, swinging at the pitches, stumbling on his feet, drunk on the diamond in the summer heat. So if you see a little league and laughter fills the air, look for Andrew Bogus, you might find him there. With a grin and a wink, he'll raise a drink on high, playing ball with Jack's team under the summer sky.
And a Bogus had a plan on a sunny afternoon.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Do you have any bad luck recently? Pete Bellotti, you have any bad luck recently?
There were times I'm sure you knew.
Maddie and AJ, Blurry eyed and rough. Next took a shot in that 8 morning cough.
We are live right at the Rose Bowl where no big deal. Penn State demolished, dominated, controlled.
Belotti's got something to say. Infinity's mine. He's feeling the dismay.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One toe. One little big toe. That was the difference last night. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. What a debut for the NFL, like they do it any differently, Pearl. It's always exciting. This one, amazing, as the Ravens are trying a furious comeback. They were down double digits in the fourth quarter, and by a miracle, it seems, Lamar Jackson somehow finds Xavier Worthy, the tight end, who had just left the game, by the way, with it looked like a bad shoulder injury, gets back into the game, back of the end zone. He comes down with what looks like a spectacular catch, and his big toe was out of bounds. It was called a touchdown on the field. It got overturned. We knew John Harbaugh was going to go for 2. He was going for the kill shot, but we are denied that last effort, and what a wild finish.
I feel like if the Ravens and the Chiefs play 100 times, 98 of the games are going to go like that. It felt so much like last year's AFC title game. The Ravens came in hell-bent on revenge, and same thing happened. They fell behind. Kansas City controlled the offense first half, and then Kansas City just held on, and Lamar came back at the end, but it wasn't enough. The Chiefs sort of messed it up at the end to even give the Ravens that much of a chance. I thought the Chiefs got conservative on offense, obviously, and thought, well, we'll just let the clock run out. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting there, Maggie, a minute 53 for Lamar. You knew he was going to get down the field in that situation at the very end.
A minute 53 with one timeout because they had burned 2 of their timeouts. I'm sorry, they had no timeouts. They used the third timeout on the plus side of the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, so when the Chiefs had the ball, exactly.
It was Lamar Jackson, no timeouts, down by 7 points, needs the touchdown, and it was spectacular. Now, the thing about the Ravens is that you can talk about this last second Isaiah Likely toe out of bounds all you want. They blew multiple chances. They blew multiple chances, including 2 plays earlier. A play earlier was Zay Flowers, who was open in the end zone. Lamar Jackson just missed him. That's the story of this game. Besides the Chiefs, we'll get to in a second, adding this new weapon in Xavier Worthy, who scared the bejesus out of me as a Bills fan, but should be scary to the rest of the league as well. The Ravens were not put together here. I mean, talk about rusty. Talk about maybe not playing in the preseason, and if that had any issues. Illegal formations all over the place. A turnover in their own territory. A sack fumble on Lamar Jackson. Burning their timeouts on defense because they can't communicate. And Justin Tucker even misses a 53-yard field goal. But, Prof, he makes those in his sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a stat. He's a little cold from 50-plus lately. But, the Chiefs have that 12th man, though. The officials supporting Patrick Mahomes, or some of the Ravens had to go. I mean, the Ravens did have a good point. They were calling penalties on their linemen, that the same penalties were not called on the Chiefs linemen. I think the Ravens had a valid excuse. And also the couple, with the 2 roughings on Mahomes, like one of them was like, what?
Well, also, you can't push him when he's out of bounds, though. Like, that was so dumb. It ended up being offsetting penalties,
totally
but it would have
been
just backing up the Chiefs had that not been because the Chiefs committed a holding penalty. It would have backed up the Chiefs if the Ravens had done something dumb there.
I think it was the other one. He wasn't out of bounds, and they called it. Like, he was definitely in bounds.
Yeah, they also missed one on Mahomes, too.
Well, the first one they called was weak. I mean, there was no doubt about it. And then there was the one on the sideline. Yeah, so they helped Mahomes. I think there's a legit argument. Also, too, officials. You know, we're paying to watch football. We weren't paying. Last night was free. But can you chill out a little bit? You don't have to make 700 little calls just to make a point in the first quarter, which happens every year. I feel like every year I come in week 1, week 2, and week 3, I'm saying, can you chill on the flags in the primetime games?
They were making a point about the illegal formation. Ronnie Stanley of the Ravens, a left tackle, thought they were specifically targeting him. Okay, there were a lot of other self-inflicted wounds here by the Baltimore Ravens. They only have themselves, like, I don't say to blame, like the Chiefs were just standing around as bystanders, but if they clean up some of these mistakes, they're winning this game. And, there's another...
No, I disagree with that. The Chiefs were winning this game. They they had to decide when to hit the gas and when not to hit the gas. You really think that Baltimore should have won that game if they cleaned it up? I thought the Chiefs were still a better team. They were so much smoother.
Yeah, no, the Chiefs definitely look smoother, but to your point,
I mean,
how conservative did they get? Here's the bottom line for the Chiefs. It looks good, and it looks even better with Xavier Worthy. And this is a first-round pick who has the fastest 40 ever ran at the combine at a 4.21, and he showed that speed on the field. Now, did he have the volume of catches? No. But was he effective with the times he did touch the ball? Yes, because he scored 2 touchdowns in his first ever NFL game, Perloff, but you were not impressed with how they use Xavier Worthy.
No. I'm not impressed with how. Yeah, he's a great speedster. There's no doubt about it. But what happened last night does not impress me because 1 touchdown was a blown coverage.
Yeah.
It's basically a miscommunication between Marlon Humphrey and the safety.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, does that prove anything? Did that play prove anything to you? Proved nothing to me.
He made the play. That one was a little bit easy. What I'm talking about is the speed.
Right. But he didn't even need speed on that one. But the reverse, I just think, like, you're a first-round receiver. I don't know. Maybe, like, running a reverse isn't that special in a way. Like, unless you got – I understand what you're saying. Like, he's like, you don't draft a guy so he can run a reverse.
Yeah, but how does that impact what the defense has to account for? Having the speed of of Worthy, just like having the speed of Tyreek Hill, what does it do? You as a defense have to account for Patrick Mahomes, for Isaiah Worthy, for Rashee Rice, who had 7 catches for 103 yards last night. And you also have to always account for Kelsey. Whether Kelsey is going to be the old Kelsey this year or not, he has to be, you have to keep an eye on him. He has to be in check. So that leaves Xavier Worthy to be able to showcase his speed.
Which he did not do last night because he didn't throw one deep pass to him. So there was no showcasing this. You're talking about like running a fly pattern and catching a long bomb, which didn't happen, which will happen.
I'm just saying, it's the first game, and look how they used him, and look how effective he was. Do we think it's going to get better, or do we think it's going to get worse?
But the whole point of a fast guy is that he runs a long pattern, and the safeties have to move back, which opens up everything. We haven't seen it yet. There's been none of that. I don't think did they try a long pass all night?
Yeah, they did because it was a really good pass breakup by the Ravens.
Was that to Worthy?
No, it wasn't to Worthy. But the Ravens secondary is really good.
But the Chiefs are so conservative in passing. Like they all offseason said, we're going to throw the ball long. We're going to throw the ball long. We're going to throw the ball long, and they don't unless they're setting up the Bengals, which I think might be true. They do need a little more vertical passing. Will you at least give me that?
Well, I don't know if they actually do because I'm looking at, Mahomes with a very efficient 20 of 28 for basically 300 yards. I mean, to me about the NFL, it's not like how much you win by. Like, I don't know if that matters.
They start creeping up on Rashee Rice. So the Chiefs are going to counter that because if you know every play is going to be the same thing, at a certain point, defenses adjust.
Yeah, but I mean, you're asking me if the best quarterback in the league with the best head coach in the league, now with a unique weapon like Worthy, with all the other guys they have, like, do I think they're going to be able to throw multiple stuff at you? I do. I think it's going to be game plan specific.
Do you think it'll look more like last year where they struggled a little bit offensively, or 2019 when Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns?
I think it's going to look more like the 50 touchdowns thing once they get going. I mean, again, it's Worthy's first game.
I don't at all. I think it's going to be a lot of Pacheco, a lot of short passing to Rice. They'll mix in Worthy for a couple long bombs. So you definitely want to do Hollywood Brown for a couple long bombs. But I think this is a conservative Chiefs. I think the second era of Chiefs Super Bowls is going to be much more conservative.
Well, when you have a 10-point lead, why wouldn't you run the ball? You have a 10-point lead at home.
Like, you should run the ball. In 2019, they couldn't do that. Now they can with Pacheco. Did not have a ton of yards, but that guy's great.
Yeah, he is. 855-212-4227. If you want to talk about last night's game, I'm just calling it the toe game. I think we all are going to know, just shorthand. It's the toe game.
I like that.
There's another part of the Chiefs that I was, sometimes maybe you forget about it or you get lulled to sleep just a little, or it's just the off season or what have you, but there's a boogeyman element to the Chiefs of just the lucky breaks that they get. Right. And you make your own luck. Like, I'm not trying to say that they don't deserve it or that they're not putting themselves in this great position. But, you trade with one of your rivals to get Xavier Worthy, and he's paying dividends. You have your left tackle of the future who did a fine job last night for the Kansas City. You also get things like this. Steve Spagnuolo calling a timeout and getting granted that timeout when defensive assistants or any assistant coach cannot call timeouts, okay? You also have Rashee Rice, according to Mike Florio, doesn't look like he's going to serve any kind of suspension this season. These are things that are just breaking right for the Chiefs, some big, some small.
You make it sound like that's luck. I think a lot of people think the NFL is a big fan of Taylor Swift and the Chiefs.
Oh, and that they're somehow influencing the court in Dallas?
Well, it does feel like the Chiefs get a lot of calls very consistently.
Oh, about Spagnuolo? You're talking about Rashee Rice?
Official. It does. I mean, right now, the NFL is dealing with everybody on the internet thinks the Chiefs get every call. That's just the way it is now. I'm not saying that's true, but it seems to be the trend. And that always happens with a great. I'm sure the 90s Cowboys seem to get every call, too. But also, the Rice thing is a little bit ugly because if I like this tweet I saw. If he had made one parlay bet for $15, he'd be suspended for the year. But he gets caught on camera doing all this stuff. Like, what are they waiting for? They don't need a trial in this case.
Drag racing, people got hurt. Thank God nobody
this was
died.
An obvious suspension. So I don't know what the NFL is doing here.
And again, things are like breaking right for them. And that's, I think, when I talk about the boogeyman aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs, it's like this sort of inevitability that things are going to work out for them.
I thought you meant, I thought you were going to go where Patrick Mahomes scrambles, throws a pass, it gets bat up in the air. Mahomes outjumps two defensive players to come up with the ball. Like these bounces. Avoiding an interception, and these bounces keep going the Chiefs' way, like they have in the Super Bowl. Little bounces here and there, little plays. But I will say one thing. I think an underestimated part of the Chiefs is their defense. And that linebacking core, Leo Chenal, Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, oh my God. Like, how do they get so good on defense? It's unfair. You give this Superman, Patrick Mahomes, a great defense now because I know that the Ravens did get some yards, but I thought the Chiefs' defense definitely popped.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they were tired at the end of the game. But that's, again, it's the first game. And you're not used to playing all these snaps. And it was weird because the irony of Baltimore blowing all their timeouts is that they didn't have any timeouts, so no one could substitute. So you end up keeping the Chiefs' defense on the field, and guys are just like taking knees.
The Chiefs took a timeout, but
yeah, the Chiefs took one timeout. It's like everything just seems to work out for the Chiefs. And that's the kind of thing that's like an intangible. It's like from the small things to the big things, to getting that timeout with Steve Spagnuolo, to getting Rashee Rice for the year. It's like big and small things seem to just go their way. And I think a Chiefs fan would say, well, you make your own luck. It's just skill, or it looks like luck, but we're actually I'm planning for all this stuff. I don't know. It just feels like you have a left tackle that you have to replace for Patrick Mahomes, and the guy's on an island last night, and he's looking good.
I think you also have to credit Andy Reid.
Yeah, of course.
Because there you could see Todd Monken calling plays on one thing. Things were always difficult for the Ravens. Yeah. The whole game, nothing seemed easy.
Especially the third quarter on offense for them. It was tough.
Right. And the Chiefs, for some reason, their offense, it seemed a lot of space was built in. They always had, you credit Mahomes too, but I think the offensive coaching staff is a step up in KC.
855-212-4227. We have a poll question out there. We have competing polls because Perloff.
You don't want to read these, Maggie. They do not work out for you.
Work out for me? What did I say? I said,
here's exactly what I said. I said Xavier Worthy had two TDs, one on a reverse, one on a broken play. At Maggie Gray says he's Tyreek Hill 2.0. Is that an overreaction? 71% say yes.
Well,
it's an overreaction.
They don't live in my brain. But the other part, too, is how about our first poll, the original poll at Maggie and Pearl on X, where you can actually watch the show at Maggie Gray right now on X if you'd like to as well. Were you impressed with Xavier Worthy's debut performance? 85% say yes. You're the only person alive who's not impressed by what he did last night.
Josh sent a note to me, Tyreek 2.0, a little prisoner of the moment reaction. It was one game, not taking anything away from Worthy, but let's chill.
No,
I'm
not going to chill. You chill.
I think that overall message that, okay, forget the actual details of Xavier Worthy. Can Maggie chill as a Bills fan? Can your Bills fandom just chill this year? Can you just enjoy the football season for what it is and not see everything through this Bills Mafia sunglasses where if Xavier Worthy gets a reverse, all of a sudden it's an indictment of the entire state of pro football in Western New York? Maybe it's just a nice little nifty play. Maybe it has nothing to do with the Bills. Can you just relax this season? Can 2024 be the season that you enjoy football instead of worrying about how does everything affect my Bills?
No. And how dare you? On top of that, even suggest that I should chill, because if your Eagles were the ones who had given and gifted the Kansas City Chiefs Xavier Worthy, then every time he scores, a little part of you would die too.
No, because the Eagles actually did a trade, if you recall, where they traded up with the Dallas Cowboys to get Devontae Smith. Or what did they trade with? Yeah, I think it was anyway.
Great. So you were on the winning side of these things.
Whatever.
Congrats.
They traded. Let me make sure I have this right. They traded up for Devontae Smith with a rival in the division.
Well, yeah, of course, if you win those kinds of trades, then you don't have the type of, scar tissue that I'm pre-forming.
Do you know who the Cowboys got with that pick, the 12 pick?
Oh, was it Micah Parsons?
It was Micah Parsons, and nobody in Philly cares about that because we were never taking Micah Parsons, and they were never taking Devontae Smith. The Bills were not taking Xavier Worthy. He's a great weapon in Kansas City. He would get murdered in Buffalo because it's too cold up there.
Let's not forget, the Bills also gave Kansas City Mahomes. So there's been a couple times when they've traded with Kansas City on the night of the draft, and it has not worked out particularly well. The Bills got Tre'Davious White back, who became an all-pro corner, but is now currently a Ram.
But they had Josh Allen. Or did they have Josh Allen? No, Josh Allen was in next year.
Got the next
but they got Josh Allen. The thing is, the Chiefs were getting Xavier Worthy anyway. It's not like the Bills were the only team that they could have called.
A little piece of me is going to die every time Xavier Worthy scores a touchdown this season, and I just want everyone to know that. And you take it personally, too, because he looks awesome.
Keon Coleman's going to have twice as many catches as Xavier Worthy. Keon Coleman's a big deal.
Will he have more touchdowns?
No. But did you see Florida State without Keon Coleman? Has anyone watched the Florida State Seminoles without Keon Coleman? That guy should have been the first overall pick based on what we've seen in college football.
Yeah, it was just that.
Yeah. Honestly, it's the NFL. Every rookie wide receiver is going to be awesome. Xavier Worthy could be great. He'll probably be the 8th best receiver in this class because they're all going to be Pro Bowlers in 2 weeks.
Coming up, we are going to start a fun weekly segment on Fridays with our pal Nick Kostos from You Better You Bet. He will be giving you the upset to look for this weekend, along with a lot of other fun things you can bet on. Nick is the best, a good friend of the show, and we'll talk to him next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Maggie, who did we pick yesterday on yesterday's show in the Chiefs-Ravens game?
Well, my prize pick, I cashed a Derrick Henry.
Oh, okay.
More than half a touchdown, so I feel good about my prize pick on Prize Picks.
That's funny.
Use the promo code
very
MVP.
political answer there. Are you running for office by answering something completely different? Yeah, we both had the Ravens, and I still feel good about it. I mean, if Lamar's going to run for 16 times 122 yards to sell out his health for a win, they should have gotten it. Did not happen, but it's only Thursday night game. We have a Friday night game. We have so much to bet on this week.
Well, that, and also if we had just listened to our friend Nick Kostos, then we would have known to bet the Chiefs last night because he was all over it. And Nick is good enough to join us now. Got up very early for us. He's in Las Vegas. Of course, he's the host of You Better You Bet. Nick, thanks for getting up early, dude. Las Vegas at 5:20 a.m. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel awesome. I've been up since 2:45. I conduct my business on East Coast time when I'm out here. So yeah, it's long nights and early mornings, but But that's how we do here. But I got to take care of business week 1 in the NFL. Great to be on with you guys.
I'm surprised you're not also monitoring the Asian markets somehow. Nick is all over it. Nick's going to be joining us on Fridays, normally from the East Coast, normally on video, but we're going to do it on the phone today. Of course, we said Nick is the host of You Better Bet, but You Bet on the BetQL network, and you were all over the Chiefs last night. But that's old news. That's history. We can't get those bets back, Nick. So let's turn our attention
is it history
to tonight.
Because you bet the Ravens, or no? Is that history?
Yeah.
Is that the reason why?
Yes,
exactly.
Listen, I won with the Chiefs. Also, Isaiah Likely is one toe away from that being a loss for anyone who bet Kansas City. Ravens are going to go for 2 for sure, and either win by 1 or lose by 1. So that it came down to the very end. It wasn't as easy as you're making. I appreciate that, but that was a sweat literally until the final inch of the game.
Yeah, literally the toe game. That's what we're calling it now, the Isaiah Likely toe game. But let's turn our attention to tonight. You get a gift here of a Friday night, kind of weird, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Perloff's Eagles, and the Packers. How do you see this one from a betting angle?
Yeah, so I think this one's a little tough, and I'll have really strong opinions on almost every single game on Sunday. The fact that this game is being played in Sao Paulo, Brazil, I think adds a little bit of uncertainty to the mix here. Now, we did see earlier this week, I want to say it was a Wednesday, that we saw an Eagles -3 hit the board basically across the screen. Eagles out to a 3-point favorite in the game. And I think bettors collectively said, and I was one of them, just no, this can't be. Philly probably should be favored in the game, but by 3, the most important number when you talk about betting in the NFL, that seemed to bridge too far. And now we're sitting Eagles -2, -2.5. I think that's just right. If I had to bet this game, and I will make this bet, not because I think it's a great bet. There are some bets that I think are great bets this weekend. This is not one of them. But I want an action bet tonight. I'll bet the over in tonight's game because I really, really love both of these offenses. I think both Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts are in for huge seasons this year, and I like a lot of the matchups that the wide receiving core for both teams has on the opposing secondary for both teams. So I'll have a small bet on the over for tonight's game. I'll give out a bunch of props for the game on my show on You Better You Bet coming up later today. But I don't love this game the way I love other games coming up this weekend.
Hey, Nick, can I ask a general week 1 question? Is there, if you're trying to bet this weekend, underdogs and unders feels like a week 1 thing because everyone's trying to figure stuff out. Is there any trend over the last several years that we can think about when we're making our picks this weekend?
Yeah, I don't really like trends for the most part. I will say there is one trend that I think is pretty decent that has kind of been proven out over the last however many years, and it's offense is struggling when a quarterback for that offense does not play in the preseason. That they come out a little they don't come out as strong. And we actually saw this, Perloff, and you'll appreciate this as an Eagles fan. When the Eagles came out last year and they actually covered against the Patriots, which probably last year was more about New England than about Philadelphia. So Philly covers against New England last year in week 1, but Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni make the point after the game because Hurts didn't play last year in the preseason. We probably need to adjust this a little bit next season, into the preseason. So I would just keep that in mind. It's one of the reasons, for instance, why I think the Jets, on balance, have a better chance to win the Super Bowl this year than the San Francisco 49ers. I really believe that. But as far as this game goes on Monday night, we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers since RFK was still in the presidency. and Brock Purdy played in the preseason. So I like the Jets more than San Francisco this season, but I think that kind of probably makes me stop short of liking the Jets on Monday night this week. I think that is actually a pretty decent trend.
Nick Kostos is joining us from You Better You Bet. He's going to join us on Fridays during the football season to give us some of his favorite bets, and we will pick an upset bet coming later in this segment. We will do that every week. Nick's big upset of the week. Pat, hit the music. Yes, and that's how you're going to know the upset's coming is when you hear that music.
Who wants to be a millionaire? Yeah.
I thought you'd like that one, Nick. All right, you said you have some bets on the board that you absolutely love. Clue us in on what you are just dying to bet this weekend.
Oh, how much time do you have here? Because I can go for a while on all the games.
Give us a spread and then an over/under.
Okay, let's start with the over-under, and I guess we kind of have to wait just to make sure, and I hate to do this, but I think this is really important for betting. There are potential, and obviously anyone that knows anything about weather in South Florida will be able to appreciate this. There's potential, thunderstorms in the forecast coming up on Sunday in Miami. That can change. It can be perfect weather with the Dolphins and the Jaguars, but just something to watch out for. You do not have to be a meteorologist to know these things. There's a great website called NFLweather.com. NFLweather.com that tracks all of this stuff basically in real time, and you can see what's going to go on coming up on Sunday or in any game played on any day in the National Football League. So assuming we're not playing in like a torrential downpour on Sunday in Miami, absolutely love the over. So we'll start with the total in the Dolphins-Jaguars game. I am so bullish on both of these offenses this year. Obviously, Miami's offense is going to be good, and the offensive line, I think, will ultimately be the bugaboo for the Dolphins this season, but Mike McDaniel's going to scheme it up to get the ball out of Tua's hands. They've got ridiculously fast playmakers, obviously, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Devon Achane, and fantasy name to know, if there's an injury in that Dolphins backfield, is rookie running back Jalen Wright, who's insanely fast and is like one injury away from being a league winner in fantasy football. So Dolphins offense, we know is going to be good, and I think we get a big-time bounce back this year from Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars offense. Better offensive line for Jacksonville. Love the first-round draft pick of Brian Thomas from LSU, athletic freak. Was awesome in the preseason. Maybe he doesn't really pop right away, and it takes a couple weeks for the rookie to get fully integrated. But I'm really bullish on both of these offenses. Let's go over 49 with the Jaguars and the Dolphins. Over 49 Jaguars and Dolphins is my total pick of the week. And if I had to pick my favorite spread of the week, I'll give you this one. Even though the line has moved, so the bet is not as good now as it was 24 hours ago. But, guys, this is one that I circled literally when, the schedule came out and the lines came out for week one. So I've been talking about this since May. And it's the Tennessee Titans on the road at the Chicago Bears. Now, this is not going to be an anti-Caleb Williams thing. I think Caleb Williams is awesome. I think he's going to be great. And I think the Bears will be cooking with gas eventually. And to quote to channel my inner Vincent McMahon, but not this year. I don't see it happening this year. Not with Matt Eberflus as head coach. It's like the plot of a Nickelodeon sitcom. Loser gets cool haircut and grows beard, and all of a sudden starts getting straight A's in school. It's like Hannah Montana, right? Or starts dating someone attractive in their class. It's not how real life works. So great, Matt Eberflus got a cool haircut. Also, he's a terrible coach. He's terrible, right? We all thought he was awful last year, and now it's just they got Caleb Williams, so now the coach is good. Is he? Facts not in evidence for the Bears to be a 4-point favorite against Will Levis, Brian Callahan, and the Titans. What if Will Levis is good? What if Brian Callahan is good? We know Matt Eberflus is bad. We know it already. Titans +4, Titans +3.5. I bet 4.5 a while back, but it's not as good now, but I still like Tennessee.
Nick, can I just point out something? You can't see us. I'm pointing my computer. I'm making Maggie look at my computer.
Yeah,
because we do picks later in the show, and I had the Titans, which should make you nervous, actually, Dick. But
you don't be on the same side.
No. We're both going to win.
But I'll tell you what convinced me? Bill Belichick said Caleb Williams wasn't that great in the preseason. That's all I needed. I don't know if you saw that soundbite.
He wasn't. He made a couple, he's insanely good, when he gets out of structure. So, the highlight everyone's going to look at is when, he's running around and has, the insane, shot put pass to Odunze down the field. Yeah, that's a great play. Also, there's a lot of bad. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I think he's going to be awesome. Just that, the expectation is, C.J. Stroud, guys, I think listeners should think about this. And it doesn't have to go this way. C.J. Stroud has, broken everyone's brain when it comes to thinking about rookie quarterbacks, because now it's if Caleb Williams can just be 90% of C.J. Stroud, what? This doesn't happen. That's why it was so amazing that Stroud did that last year. It's not a negative to Caleb Williams to say he's probably not going to be as good as C.J. Stroud was last year.
Nick Kostos is joining us from You Better You Bet. He's going to join us on Fridays every week. He got up early for us. He's in Las Vegas, but he's already been up. He's been up since 2 a.m. just doing what he does. All right, Nick, every week we're going to ask you for the upset of the week.
Do I get to phone a friend or no?
You are the friend. We're phoning you.
All right, that's the great comeback. Okay, I like a couple this week. I will give you what I think is the most fun one for our purposes.
Okay.
So are you ready for this? So how about this? On Sunday, I will take the team that has unquestionably, the better quarterback. The quarterback that you can trust more. The quarterback who's not dealing with a potential debilitating injury. And the quarterback who does not, in this game, have the massive contract with guaranteed money. Give me Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys to go on the road to Cleveland and beat Deshaun Watson and the Browns. Now, not a huge point spread here for the upset. Browns like a 2.5-point home favorite, but there are whispers. The whispers don't have to be right, but just I want to pass this along. There are whispers that Deshaun Watson's shoulder is like really screwed up. We didn't see him play. We didn't see Dak play in the preseason also, but we didn't see Deshaun Watson play at all in the preseason. He was supposed to play in the third preseason game and then was ruled out to general arm soreness in August, coming off a shoulder injury. Sounds bad. I trust Dak a lot more. I think the Cowboys might be just as good as the Browns this year, if not better. And if I trust one quarterback more, I'll take that team to win the game with the small point spread. Give me America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, to win on Sunday in Cleveland.
Wow. I love it. Hey, Nick, we're coming up against a break real quick. Can I understand that it's a big point spread, but Texas is going to kill Michigan, right? That's not even a form of a question. How do you view that game?
Well, there's a low total in the game, so you basically have to think that Michigan's not going to score in the game. I think it's 42.5. Texas is 7.5 point favorite. I like Michigan a little bit. The reason why I like Michigan and why I think Michigan's offense looked bad last week, like they've got to get Alex, like insert joke. They have to get Orgy on the field. They got to get Alex Orgy on the field here, who's like their dual threat quarterback. Davis Warren did not look good last week against Fresno State. And Sherrone Moore has said, and he's coaching without a contract, he should fire his agents. I want to fire his agent for him. We'll see more Alex Orgy. Will lead to more explosive plays for Michigan. I don't know if Michigan wins the game, but I do think Michigan will cover. And last thing on this, Perloff, is everyone points to last year. Well, Texas beat Alabama in week 2, so now they're going to thump Michigan. They were underdogs in that game. In this game, they're a touchdown favorite on the road at the Big House. So I will begrudgingly, now that the number is 7, I'll take the points with Michigan coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, they just need to get involved in the orgy. That's what you were looking for, Nick. We're all thinking it
on a Saturday.
We're not that bad. Yeah, Nick, thank you so much. Have fun in Vegas. Travel safe home, and we appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, you got it. Wishing you guys and all your great listeners minimal sweats, winning bets. The absolute very best of luck.
You can listen to Nick, the host of You Better You Bet, with our pal Femi Abebefe, who we absolutely love. That show is awesome. And Nick does a great job. So there you go. We just hit you off with the upset of the week.
Wait, is Pat, is Nick still there? Well, it's amazing. Like, I love Nick. I think he's one of the great guys. The fact that I like him second best on his own show now, because I love Femi.
I do love
Even
Femi.
more. I didn't want to tell Nick. I'm like, yeah, you brought Femi. Like, you were our favorite. Now you're our second favorite on your own show.
Like a 1A, 1B kind of thing. Doesn't have to play favorites necessarily.
But I got to tell you right now, I was going to pick the Titans.
Yeah, that's fine. You can double
I just don't want you to think
pick.
that I'm not seeing exactly. You just said glom. I'm not glomming on. I had the
you
Titans
want to take
circled
Nick as a professional bettor, and you want to pass us off as your own pick.
Oh,
sure.
my God. That's
fine.
why.
That's why you need to beat me. I mean, it's drastic, but.
I have it written right here on my screen. It says Titans -4, which is a mistake because they're +4. No, they're +4. So
I'm also on the
immediately-
Titans. I'm also on the Titans, Pearl. So, Maggie, if you want to try to outsmart a professional bettor and me and Perloff.
Well, no, but Pat, now that everyone's picking the Titans, like, I think I'm going to mortgage a house and bet the Bears because, like, this does not feel right. This just feels too easy.
There are times where the public money wins.
Is the correct money. It's funny about the glow up with Eberflus. Now all of a sudden we think that he's a better coach just because he got a better haircut. Andrew Bogusch is here. Bogusch, you kind of have a little of the Eberflus.
Thank you for noticing, Maggie. And I did it first, far before he did.
He's got the U.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a big, nice house on Lake Michigan.
That I don't
he's
have.
doing it all right.
Yeah.
So
a lot of
I
linen
think
clothes. I don't have those either. Average penis size.
Is there something you'd like to tell us, Bogusch?
Where did that come from?
Is there something else you'd like to share with the class on some other shortcomings?
Is that an old DA show thing? I'd never heard that one.
I don't remember that one. The first two boil plate I remember very vividly. That one, I don't know where that came from.
He's tapped your phone.
My wife's phone. It is the worst.
Good luck rebounding from that one, Bogusch. These better be the best headlines you ever had in your life.
Something big better have happened.
Oh, yeah, or
something
not.
medium is happening somewhere else.
I guess.
Oh, boy.
Something about size and Xavier Worthy.
And now the Chiefs will bring it on an end around to Xavier Worthy at the 20, 15 of the Ravens, 10, 5, touchdown! Kansas City rookie Xavier Worthy on a perfectly executed, well-blocked end around.
Big debut to most of us, small one to Perloff. That was Mitch Holtis on Chiefs radio.
Mitch Holtis gets it. He was crediting the blockers. I mean, honestly, you want to talk about Noah Gray, then I'll talk to you. But Xavier Worthy,
Worthy also caught a touchdown pass on opening night at Arrowhead.
This is everything I dreamed of. like I said before, I didn't want to go nowhere else but the Chiefs.
Definitely not Buffalo. Worthy and those Chiefs opening their quest for a 3-peat with a 27-20 victory over the Ravens, but only after review overturned Isaiah Likely's 10-yard TD catch on the final play of regulation because a toe or two came down out of bounds in the back of the end zone. Maybe, Maggie, this ends your Worthy nightmare. Mitchell Trubisky back to full practice yesterday after missing time late in camp with a knee injury.
Why are they even letting him in the facility? I mean, you already have Mike White as the backup now. We don't need you anymore, Mitch. Thank you and good luck.
Josh Allen likes to have backup quarterbacks who make him look better in comparison. I think that's a theory of Josh's.
That he needs that kind of ego boost? What is he, Deshaun Watson?
Give me
Can't have
another
Joe Flacco hanging around?
Give me another explanation for why Trubisky's there. That's
Josh
the best I got.
Allen needs somebody to play video games with. And apparently you can do that online now. So I guess you don't have to do that in person.
There is a super lame commercial out there where a bunch of NFL players are gladiators. Josh Allen's in that, right?
Yeah.
It's
Josh Allen.
Why he did
Justin
that.
Jefferson, Kelsey.
And
couple others. There's like six
Megan
or
the
seven.
Stallion.
Derek Henry.
And Megan the Stallion.
Yeah, she's like the...
It is god-awful, that thing.
That is a bad commercial.
Yeah.
Those like PlayStation 2 graphics.
Yeah.
Not only that, like Justin Jefferson's dancing and all the white guys are standing around watching him in that commercial. It's kind of weird.
This is a weird lion. They're doing like this Roman Coliseum type thing, and they all want a Pepsi. It's weird.
And they showed it like 10 times.
Yeah.
They showed it, I feel like every time out, every commercial break, that same commercial showed up.
Wait, did you guys like the Kevin Hart LeBron commercials? That commercial's been around, but they did some new ones that I thought were really funny.
They're okay.
Get out of here.
Kevin Hart is...
Oh, my God. You guys don't like LeBron and Kevin Hart as best friends in LeBron's living room? What's wrong with you?
Is anyone actually filming these together anymore? I couldn't tell if they were actually in the same room. Maybe Kevin Hart and LeBron, but those other guys in the Pepsi commercial, I don't think any of them were actually together. It's so CGI.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's just weird. Anyway.
You're right. They didn't look like they were ever looking at each other at all.
Yeah.
But LeBron and Kevin Hart, that's going to be a movie in 2 years when LeBron finally
It's not
retires.
already a movie?
Yeah, I know. I think they're really cute. A tall guy, a short guy. I'm not hard to please.
Or you're Xavier Worthy and nothing works.
Yeah, Perloff's only has 2 speeds.
Yeah.
Either it's awesome or it sucks. There's no in between.
I'm sorry. Guy gets 2 catches in his rookie debut, and all of a sudden Jerry Rice should just retire, take down his bus because Xavier Worthy has arrived. The NFL will never be the same. 2 catches.
Definitely what we said.
Keon Coleman's about to have 11 catches for 73 yards. Then we'll talk.
Mark that down. There was a loss for the Chiefs yesterday. Superfan Xavier Badubar, better known as Chiefsaholic, sentenced to 17 and a half years in jail, no parole, for a string of bank robberies. Chiefsaholic pled out in February, admitting to stealing $800,000 through 11 robberies across 7 states.
Yeah, is that a Chiefs loss? And the guy's a scumbag.
Oh, he's terrible. But you know what's funny is like bank robberies, I think there's something romantic about it because of like movies and stuff. It's like, oh, that's such a clever, well, it's not clever, but it's like, oh, that's a, what type of crime am I looking at?
It's like a romantic.
It's a heist.
Yeah,
it's
like a heist, but like this guy sucks, and he totally scared the hell out of people, and he should absolutely go to jail for 17 and a half years. He should stay there for all those years.
I also feel like maybe it feels like victimless to people because no one cares if Chase loses money, and like you figure like I'm going to get my money back if you're a customer. So it's just like this cool thing of a plan and
like Ocean's 11. It's like knocking off a casino.
Or like the town. Like, oh yeah, I like Ben Affleck.
Right. It's not in real life. I think these people are scared to death, and your life is forever changed if you're in a bank when it's getting robbed.
Sorry, so Point Break is a big one in my family.
I know there is something
like this something heroic,
like Bonnie and Clyde.
Exactly, like the 20s and those guys with Tommy guns. But you're right. In reality, it's not good.
My wife shared a reel with me yesterday. I don't know if it's new or old, but a guy with a pantyhose over his head, driving around a car, asking where the nearest bank is to people and seeing them react. Like, which bank? It doesn't matter. Just a bank.
Sounds like something they would have done on Jackass a long time ago with Johnny Knoxville's show.
Yeah.
USC football retired Caleb Williams, number 13, yesterday. They also returned Reggie Bush's number 5 to the display at the LA Coliseum. Now, that he has his Heisman Trophy back. The New York Liberty, a 77-70 home win over the Seattle Storm last night. Sabrina Ionescu, 17 points and 8 assists. And the U.S. Open women's final is now set. Second-seeded Aryna Sabalenka will battle American hero Jessica Pegula tomorrow night. Sabalenka knocked out another American, Emma Navarro. Then Pegula rallied past Karolina Muchova in 3 sets. She was a point away from being down 6-1, 3-love before beginning that comeback. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, thanks so much. We've got more from last night's game. Wild one, now heretofore known as the toe game. Tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, ODB. We will get back to the game from last night in just a moment because it was a crazy one. Isaiah Likely's toe, the difference. It was out of bounds on a final play. Knew John Harbaugh was going to go for 2 if the touchdown stood. They were going for the win on the road against Kansas City, but the touchdown gets waved off because Isaiah Likely's toe is out of bounds. Pearl is a wild one, but we do have a bit of an update that's very important to this show. Extremely important. And it's about Dak Prescott's contract. What's the latest that you have? Oh, let's hit the music.
Yeah. Actually, I wasn't prepared for this question, but I did read Dak hinted that it doesn't even have to happen by Sunday. That he seems like everybody's hinting they're in the red zone of this contract.
Yeah.
Like Dak's side is positive, and he said it doesn't necessarily have to be done by Sunday. And the team has gotten weirdly kind of quiet about it. Team like Stephen Jones and those guys are now being a little evasive. So a lot of people think it's close.
Let's hear a little from Dak Prescott. We've got the sound for you. Pat, let's hear cut 3. Dak says he understands the contract talks are complicated, but both sides continue to work at it.
It's a lot that entails in parts and moving parts in the contract, and those guys, I know both sides are working.
All right, and he's not putting a timetable on the contract.
I would say that they're working. I don't know if that's necessarily the timeline. I can't say, oh, hell, I'll put a timeline on to Todd and Steven if we don't get this done, this or that, but I know they're working.
Can we hear cut 5 too? Dak says he's not distracted by this because he's not motivated by money.
Being out there in between the lines with people that you share a brotherhood, with. It's something that's just special about this game of football, and we're just blessed that money comes with it, and I'm in the position that I'm in, that we can be having these conversations, but that doesn't motivate me.
Imagine being in a prolonged contract with someone, and then all of a sudden they say, well, I'm not motivated by money. It's like, well, then sign the deal. Like, what are we doing?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I would not say that if I were him. I'd be like, you know what? I'm motivated by a lot of things, and I'm going to keep all those to myself. That's your Cowboy Quickie. Now, why this is scary for me is you heard Dak say there's not necessarily a timeline. Now, usually guys will say, when the season starts, I'm cutting it off. This is it, that you have your chance, but deadline spur action maybe, and I don't want to talk about this during the season. Dak's kind of leaving it open, which means at any moment, the anvil can fall squarely on my head of me losing this bet where if Dak Prescott signs a long-term deal with the Cowboys and is the Cowboys quarterback next year, I have to go sit at a Waffle House for 24 hours, and for every waffle I eat, 1 hour comes off the time. Now, if you lose the bet and Dak Prescott moves on to a different team, you have to do the Waffle House bet, albeit with cheese omelets because you're watching your carbs.
That sounds so unmanly. It's incredible.
I'm sorry. It's the truth.
Yeah, honestly, I offered you an out yesterday. I don't know anymore. I offered that, but I'm a little nervous because
sounds like they're doing the deal.
It does sound like that, but why isn't it done?
I don't know, especially if Dak's not motivated by money. And just get out there. I don't know. I think this is trending in the right direction for Dak.
But it's such a bizarre situation. Yeah. They're probably, and I know this frustrated you with Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco. Like, why to have this hang out all off season if you guys were probably close on the money anyway? They're probably at about $56 million a year, 4 or 5 years. So I don't understand what the details they're hashing out are.
Well, that's funny because Diana Rossini had reported on this a little earlier this week and said not only is it the years that's the hang up, which Dak wants more, the Cowboys want to do less. Clearly that's smart for a quarterback who's over 30. but also questions of whether or not he can win a Super Bowl. So I kind of think Jerry wants everyone playing on one-year deals. Like, I think they're so ticked off about how and disappointed about how things ended losing to the Packers. I think he wants Mike McCarthy feeling it. I think he wants Dak Prescott feeling it to see if maybe the outcome changes with guys playing in the final season. It might be flawed logic, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, longtime Cowboys reporter Clarence Hill said the years is not an issue at all.
Oh, really?
So who knows? I mean,
insider standoff.
But the other thing, the ironic part is Dak wanted less years last time, and now he wants more years. I get it, man. If I'm the Cowboys, I don't want more years. That is important to have some flexibility here. Dak, if we forget, he was in a walking boot this offseason. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be mobile Dak again. And mobile Dak was insane.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, are you getting an A+ Dak Prescott from 30 through 35 and then 35 through 40? That's a legit question. I mean, I understand everyone says the Cowboys don't know what they're doing, but I do think there's obvious logic here.
Yeah, but he was runner-up in the MVP last year. So
right, but is it going to get better or is it going to get worse?
Well, I mean, he and Mike McCarthy, it was bad against Green Bay, but they're good together.
But he's never been a runner, but he's always been kind of mobile. I guess you do worry about guys who, like Russell Wilson, falling off a cliff. He's not the same style as Russell Wilson, but there is a little bit of Dak and health concerns.
Yeah, he's bigger than Russ, obviously.
But the fact that he was wearing a boot this summer, says that whatever happened to his right leg, that is never going to be perfect.
Preventative boot?
I don't know.
Something like that. He was going on a boat. 855-212-4227.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
When you go on a boat, you got to wear a boot. Everyone knows that. Coming up, it was the play that changed everything last night. What an opener. Got the details for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
If Isaiah Likely is only wearing a 10.5 shoe instead of 11.5, maybe the entire outcome of last night is different. Welcome to the toe game. NFL starts with a bang last night. Kansas City wins 27-20, but it was a furious comeback from the Baltimore Ravens that ends with Isaiah Likely catching a pass at the back of the end zone from Lamar Jackson. He comes down. Perloff, the big toe is out of bounds. We know that John Harbaugh was going to go for 2 there and try to win the game right at the end, but that dang big toe and now the flaws of the Baltimore Ravens and sort of how rusty they looked and some of the self-inflicted wounds come more into the forefront because they were not able to convert on this miracle play.
Yeah, I mean, it's week 1. It's Thursday, week 1. This is a game that felt like it meant a lot last night, but it's a long season. I feel like if you're a Ravens fan, you walk away from that game saying, it really stinks not winning.
Yeah.
But this is still a very good team. That is very clear in last night. I don't know if you can have Lamar Jackson run that many times, 16 times, and stay healthy, but there wasn't any drastic drop-off. They hung right there with the Super Bowl champions. It was in Kansas City. Feel like this is good. We might see this game again. That's all I'm saying. Like, do not panic if you're a Baltimore fan.
No, but I don't love what I see in terms of what it takes. First of all, they were playing up the revenge factor here. I mean, Lamar was not shying away from it, apparently, when he's talking to the broadcasters and stuff before the game. They talked about it multiple times. This was not just any regular season game to him because of all the regret they had from the AFC Championship game. And there were a lot of things to clean up. I mean, you have a new offensive line. They were flagged for a ton of penalties, illegal formations, things of that nature. You had a bad sack fumble in their own end, which led to Kansas City Chief points. You had burn timeouts early in the third quarter on defense, of all places, because you couldn't get your substitutions in. Justin Tucker missed a 53-yarder. I mean, you hung in there, but this one stings because this is all stuff that in theory, like, you were in control of. It was some of your own mistakes that were killing you.
Yeah, but it's like extended preseason. You can fix all that. Everything you said is fixable. Justin Tucker is going to hit those field goals. They're going to figure out these new emphasis on the line play. And by the way, man, if those tackles have to line up right where they're saying they have to line up, the pass rushers are going to blow by them so fast. Like,
Big deal.
I hope Myles Garrett was watching that game last night. He's going to feed off of that new rule emphasis. But I think all of that is actually, you're saying it's a negative. It stings for last night. I think it's a positive in the sense that, like, yeah, they can clean it up. It's a well-coached team. Lamar looked, the passing game was not great. He was very, very conservative in the first half, nervous about his line and wanted to get rid of the ball. But he looked a little more athletic last night than he did at the end of last season. So I'm actually pretty excited for the Ravens. I think we're looking at another double-digit win season. Tough loss, but you're at Kansas City, Maggie. Like, that does not. I know it got close at the end. This is not. Yeah, but it's not going to kill you by any means.
Well, no. I mean, one game, you can't lose the season on the first week. But
KC lost week 1 last year too, and it looked bad. And it's kind of. Bogus will hate this thing. It's extended preseason. Let's be honest.
Well, here's the thing, though, about the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, scarier. They look scarier. We're talking about them pulling off this three-peat, and that's going to be the big storyline of the season. I thought that Xavier Worthy and his addition makes them look faster than they've looked in 2 years. I mean, ever since Tyreek Hill left, yes, they've overcome it. They've won Super Bowls, and they've won a different kind of way. This was shades of Tyreek Hill. I'm calling him Tyreek Hill 2.0. He might not be the Hall of Famer that Tyreek Hill is, but he's got that kind of blazing speed that if you give Andy Reid that kind of weapon, I don't care if it's wide receiver, running back, he's just a football player who's fast. And they're going to find a way to put him in position to succeed. And the rookie from Texas had 2 touchdowns last night. I mean, were they like the best plays ever? They were fast plays. One was a broken play. The bottom line is the Chiefs got another toy, and they know how to use it, and it's only going to get better from here, I think.
Yes,
bad news for the rest of the league.
But, I mean, is it so different than Mecole Hardman and Kadarius Toney and the other guy, or Hollywood Brown? Like, I don't know. They've had fast guys before. And, by the way, Kadarius Toney, you guys were laughing at, but dude, did he burn the Eagles on a punt return?
Yeah, no, he just had all those drops.
I'm just saying, like,
he's kind of an idiot.
Well, that is the key test for Worthy. Okay, forget the debate about whether we're overreacting. Like, it's still in my mind yet to be determined. Like, how is he going to be a star receiver or is he more of a gadget player? Like, and he was, by the way, he was open on some plays. Mahomes, for various reasons, couldn't get him the ball. Like, I think what they need to do is say against Cincinnati in their next game, like, throw a 60-yard bomb to him, and then the defense is going to be really nervous. The reverse, there's nothing you can do. It's a trick play. There's nothing you can do about that. So I think it's still to be determined how impactful he'll be. The other thing about the Chiefs, they hit you with 9 different ways.
I know.
One day, play will be Worthy. The next is Rice. The next is Kelsey. The next it's Pacheco. So that's what should scare you, not Xavier Worthy. I would be more scared of Pacheco. I mean, that guy never goes down. You saw him roll over that defender in the fourth quarter.
How about that?
He is such an awesome weapon for that team. They're way more than one thing right now. They can beat you in 10 different ways.
I know. Scarier. And it's funny because, you just feel like an idiot when you watch the Chiefs sometimes, right? And like, to me, it's deflating for the rest of the league because look at none of the things like the trappings of some other, the success that other teams have. It's like nothing phases this team. I know this is kind of silly. We do it as a fun joke, but Angela, the tarot card reader, was here yesterday and we were having some fun doing some predictions and looking to the cards and all of that. But like the one thing that she pulled when we asked if the Kansas City Chiefs were going to a three-peat, and again, I know it's fun and silly and tongue-in-cheek. She pulled the first card and she goes, you can tell they're having a good time. They're having a good time. It's almost like the pressure of the three-peat, something that other dynasties have talked about where you're almost just relieved when you win as opposed to excited when you win. It's almost like none of that stuff is touching the Chiefs. That looked like a team that was having a good time. They don't seem to be, there's none of the ego stuff. Like Travis Kelce is 34 yards receiving. You think he cares? With Taylor there last night, he doesn't care. None of them do. It's none of this BS. Look at the Bills. Stephon Diggs has to leave because he doesn't get the targets and all this other crap that other teams have to deal with. It's like the Chiefs are immune to it.
They did just win 2 Super Bowls.
I know, but there's for some teams that turns into the disease of me. And to some teams that turns into a problem. And again, the pressure and oh my gosh, you feel like you're playing with the weight of the world on your shoulders. And they don't play with any of that. And then the other part too is they get a little lucky. And let's not discount some of the things that have broken right for the Chiefs. The fact that Rashee Rice is likely not going to be serving any type of suspension or be in any trouble this season for that devastating car accident that left people injured, that you feel like most of the time the NFL punishes guys who have those kind of off-season or off-the-field issues, he is not going to face any kind of discipline for that. That's something breaking right. Or I'll even just go to last night. Steve Spagnuolo gets to call a timeout. That's ridiculous. He's an assistant coach. He shouldn't be able to call a timeout. Now, I get it. You can say, Maggie, this sounds like you're being sour or being a hater or whatever. I'm just telling you, the Chiefs have a boogeyman factor because it seems like an inevitability that things are going to work out for them. And they earn that because of how good they are.
Okay, I'm starting to doubt your process, Maggie. You just said the Chiefs look like they're having fun because a tarot card reader told me yesterday.
She reinforced it.
Can I recount a little conversation we had here for the audience?
Sure.
Our buddy, Peter Schrager at the NFL Network, has picked the Super Bowl correctly 5 years in a row, I believe. Yesterday, he picked the Chiefs over the Packers. Big news because he's on fire right now. And I said this.
Me.
I said to Maggie, I'm like, Schrager picked the Chiefs again. You're like, yeah, but who cares about that? The tarot card picked them to lose in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Peter's using analysis and data and facts and interviews. The tarot card reader doesn't even know who these players are and is throwing three cards. You understand? And I don't even think you were kidding. You were like, well, the two are same. It's not same.
Listen, I picked the Chiefs too. Does that mean I'm as good as Peter Schrager? I mean, the thing
It's not about you. I'm saying it's about the tarot card reader does not. And I was a tarot card reader. This is not, you don't go empty your bank account because of what she said.
What I'm talking about is this idea of destiny and fate. And this is something the Chiefs have going for them. It's almost that Tom Brady-like factor. You feel like if he has the ball and he has a chance, he's going to come through. And there's just sort of, again, this inevitability that feels like it exists with the Chiefs, that things are just going to go their way. You don't get any of that? I didn't need a tarot card reader. She just reinforced it.
I get all that. No. But you started that entire take by saying the tarot card reader said it. You started with the tarot card reader, then you went from there. So
I started with, I know this might sound silly.
Just admit it.
What?
You believe the tarot card reader. Just admit it for the audience.
I think there's something about fate. I believe in fate. Like things are kind of not pre-written for you in a way. You could probably change your fate, I guess, but I do believe in fate. Yeah.
So do you believe, because the tarot card reader said yesterday the Chiefs will lose in the Super Bowl, are you starting to think that that's a probable outcome?
Well, she also said the Bills are not going to win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Well, that was obvious.
I 100% believe that. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. They haven't won one in 100 years. Yeah. Why are they going to win next 5? But, yeah, I understand. You can believe in fate, but it's another thing to go to the bank with what Angela said. And I love Angela. And
I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, so I am going against her. Now, that was before she came in, but...
And you would have changed it if she had come in before.
Suddenly, in my mind, Jordan loves throwing a few more touchdowns.
By the way, you're not
in this
alone.
game.
My wife fully would have changed her bet on the spot. She would have said before.
Thing?
No. She just is obsessed with. She thinks the moons affect a lot of things, and there probably is something to it.
Yeah.
She's like,
I turned to a werewolf.
She's like, oh yeah, that's your rising moon. I'll be like, what? I said we
Pick
should
up your
get
socks.
Yeah. No, I said we should get chicken for dinner tonight. She's like, yeah, typical Gemini rising moon behavior. I'm telling you, I get that 24/7. No, I don't know if it's a female thing. Anyway, listen, even the best expert, it's hard to predict the future. Maybe Angela knows more than Peter Schrager. It's possible. It's possible.
You know, you just said something about Gemini rising moon. Can I just take a left turn for a second? I just realized something. We all forgot Perloff's birthday. We forgot your birthday. What do you mean? Isn't your birthday in August?
No, July.
Crap.
Actually, because I'm not 7 years old, so I don't celebrate my birthday with coworkers.
Happy birthday. Sorry, we forgot it. Whoops.
That was random.
I know. Well, he said Gemini. I'm like, oh, wait, what's Perloff's sign? And then I was like, oh, no, we missed his birthday. And
Cancer,
we didn't miss it by a little. We blew by it.
I just didn't know when his birthday was. I don't know.
We're two guys.
I mean, I love celebrating my friends.
When's your birthday?
Birthdays. I'm an April 21st, Taurus, just like Maggie.
Yep.
I actually had a conversation about Maggie being a Taurus yesterday, which is ironic that you brought this up.
The bull.
There you go.
Loyalty. Okay, that was a little aside. Sometimes the show goes a little off the rails. Let's get back on track by making some NFL picks.
Maggie and Perloff's NFL picks.
All right, we're going to do things a little bit differently this season. Pearl, you want to tell everyone what's going on?
So, since we started the show in 2021, we picked 3 things every Friday. We picked a game total over under. We picked a game against the spread. and then we picked one NFL prop. 3 NFL. Well, we're spicing up this year. We're going to go to 5 because we're going to also have a bet against the spread for college football and a bet on a college football total. So 5 in total. Now, where we are in New York, there's not a lot of college prop action. So we're not going to do a college prop. Are we agreed on that right now?
It's a little tough. And also, it's limited.
Yeah. So 5 is a good number, too. 5 picks makes sense. This is week 1 is a tough one, too, because we're not working on a lot of information here. Feels like there's going to be a lot of randomness, but I'm excited to get this started.
All right, you want to hit us off and do your 3 NFL picks.
Okay. My first one is stolen from Nick Kostos. No, I'm just kidding. I've been so high on this Titans-Bears game. I mean, Nick said he's been betting it since April.
Yeah.
I just think that there's going to be more of a transition on Caleb Williams than everybody else thinks because he was awesome in Hard Knocks and he's going to be awesome. He'd probably be Rookie of the Year, but I'm betting on a slow start. I saw some metrics on number 1 overall picks in their first game. They're usually fine, but they're not spectacular. So I'm going to give the Titans +4. I like that a lot. They're a veteran team. They have a lot of good players. Like they got L'Jarius Sneed. They're not spectacular, but they're not bad. So to give them points to me feels like a mistake. I agree with Nick Kostos. I'm taking the Titans. Okay, my over/under. I'm going over on another rookie quarterback, going against everything I just said. Give me Jaden Daniels. Give me the Bucs Commanders. This is going to be a run fest. We'll see how much the Bucs miss Dave Canales. 42.5 is a very low number. I don't know why. And I think you understand this. Like, there's just something sneaky about those Commanders, and I'm hoping it all comes together. And then my prop, this one I battled on. Bryce Young, 9.5 rushing yards over.
Wow.
Bryce Young has not really done much in his NFL career, but there is positivity coming out of Charlotte. It might be completely misplaced. New Orleans, I saw some stats, gives up a lot of rushing yards to the quarterback. I think Bryce Young, much like Lamar Jackson last night, he's going to sell out to look good. He wants to look good so badly in this game, Maggie. All the pressure's on the world. If there's any lane, he's going to scoot through it. So I'm going Bryce Young over 9.5. What do you got?
Okay, those are 3 fun picks. For my NFL picks, against the spread, give me the Rams plus the 4.5. We just saw this game in the playoffs. We saw the Rams play the Lions in Detroit. It was a 1-point game. I'm high on the Rams. I'm picking them to make the playoffs. I'm picking them to win the NFC West, actually, over the San Francisco 49ers, with the 49ers getting in as a wild card. I don't see, with a healthy Cooper Kupp, are these two teams so wildly different? Really more than a field goal difference to me? That doesn't square. So Rams plus 4.5. I like that. Although Nick Kostos did tell us about quarterbacks who don't play in the preseason, and I don't think Matthew Stafford did play in the preseason.
All right, it's so funny. That game was at 3.5 for a long time. Now it's 4.5. So it seems like the public is going against you, which is good for you, I think.
Well, we'll see. But Stafford didn't play in the preseason, and Nick said that there's a little bit of a trend there with guys easing in, but Stafford's a veteran. I have to imagine that he's got command of this offense. So that's my first against the spread pick. As far as my over-under, I'm picking an under. I'm going with the Bengals and the Pats. Now, it's a low number at 41, but I don't see how the Patriots are going to really get any offense going at all. You've got Jacoby Brissett, who might have a shoulder issue. You've got an offensive line that stinks. You have no receivers. The run game, what are you going to do? And if I'm the Bengals, no Jamar Chase all off season, and the Bengals are a team that generally have started a bit slow. And Joe Burrow didn't play preseason either, if I'm remembering that correctly. Just the joint practices, I think, that he had. I could see this game being like a 21-10, something like that. It's a low number, but I feel comfortable with it, so I'm going to go under the 41. As far as my player prop, I'm going to go to another second-year quarterback. You pick Bryce Young for your prop. I'm going to go to Anthony Richardson for mine. Richardson, healthy now with the Colts, 42.5 rushing yards. Now, they're playing the Texans, who have a very stout defense, but for Richardson, this is his thing.
Yeah.
If when everything breaks down, or even before it breaks down, he's using his wheels. So if they have a prayer in this game, he's got to be running. So 42.5. I mean, we watched Lamar Jackson last night go 100 yards rushing. These rushing quarterbacks, especially early in the season, it's what they know.
Yeah, and I think if the Texans' offense does as well as we expect and they get up, that's going to mean Anthony Richardson's going to run even more because he'll be a lot of pass plays. I like yours more than mine. Can we switch? I'll give you a little Bryce Young. I'll take big Anthony Richardson. Too late.
We still have college to get to, so give me your 2 college picks.
Okay. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it.
Go.
Colorado +7. Give me prime time. How can everybody trust Nebraska? What has Nebraska shown you in the last 25 years that you can trust them? I don't understand this spread. I know Colorado looked very vulnerable against the run in week 1. My emotion says go Buffaloes, and I'm going to be one of the celebrities on the sideline if they actually cover this spread. I'm going Buffaloes over Nebraska. And then my over-under, I'll just go with the cliche. Iowa State. Nothing shades in Iowa. Their offense is no good. I'm going under 36. Iowa State. Iowa's actually owned Matt Campbell in Iowa State, so Iowa should probably win as well, but I'm going under there.
Didn't Iowa put up 40 points last week?
Yes.
This is a whole new Iowa.
It's not. And maybe it's definitely not a whole new. By the way, the over-under is 36. It can't be that new.
It's a very low number. But
Iowa beat Illinois State 40-0. That was a 6-0 game at half.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think the total still went under, didn't it, in some weird way?
Well, it
was it? I don't remember.
You said it was 40-0, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's barely any points.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, for my college picks, caller called in from Eugene, or maybe it was Portland, earlier in the week, and said Oregon has trouble with Boise State. Now, Oregon had trouble last week with Idaho.
2008, 2009, and 2017.
I know, this is not exactly a trend. However, it did get me thinking, was this Oregon holding back against Idaho, or was this Oregon just kind of having some growing pains? And the fact that Dan Lanning has gone for 70 burgers over other FCS schools makes me think he wasn't holding back. It makes me think that maybe they were actually going through some growing pains. How much can you fix in 1 week? I'm guessing not enough. So I'm going to take Boise plus the 21 points. And I like Janty, obviously. Who doesn't? The guy's running for 6 touchdowns in his first game of the season. So that's cool for Boise.
I got to tell you, it's funny. I love your logic. The only thing that makes me nervous is why is there so many points? Doesn't that make you a little nervous? Like, did somebody know something about Oregon that we don't? Or is it like at Florida State where we're just holding on to last year?
Possible. Give me Boise plus the 21. And then for my over-under, I'm going to take Colorado and Nebraska, but you did the spread. I'm going to take the under 56. It still is.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
It feels like a big number. And again, this is what I'm going with. The Shedeur Travis Hunter, great, but they struggled against North Dakota State. And that's not a great North Dakota State team from what we're to understand. And then I do have Dylan Raiola, who looks awesome. It's his second college game. I mean, he's so new and so green.
Yeah.
And this is a big, big game with Dion and this rivalry and just how much it's bigger than UTEP. Let's put it that way. Now, he looked very good against UTEP, but this is a different kind of pressure. There's probably going to be how many people do you think are watching this game? 15 million, something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Really that
Nebraska?
Big? 10 million?
Nebraska's kind of, but I mean, listen, the first game only got 31-26, was 57 points against North Dakota State, and Nebraska's not North Dakota State.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, that's good. I like your college picks.
Well, thank you.
Can I have them?
No. So
I can bet on them. You can't stop me.
No, you can. Although I lost every bet I made last night, so I'm already digging myself out of a bit of a hole. There you go. Those are the Maggie and Perloff picks. We're doing 5 this season, 3 NFL, 2 college.
You didn't lose every bet. You had the under first half.
It's the ones I did win that one, but I had parlayed it with the Ravens money line. And that's how you lose a bet, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, of course.
Parlays.
What was the over-under last night? It was, that
40. I got it at 47.5.
Yeah, Vegas knew exactly what was going to happen in that game. It's crazy how the Chiefs are almost dead on with Vegas on their totals every time. So you lost then?
No, I won. It's 27-20.
You said 47.5.
Yeah, I got an under 47.5 right as I left the station, and then I looked later in the day. It was 46.5, and then right before when those thunderstorms happened, I don't know if people freaked out and hit the under because they thought it was going to keep happening. It went to 46 by kickoff.
855-212-4227. We are bringing back Celebrity NFL Picker this year. We're going to have our celebrity friends come and pick some games for us. Coming up next, our first celebrity. Who is it? You're going to find out next. Maggie and Perloff.
I was scrolling through my calendar, today. Realize we missed a major holiday. Andrew's birthday came and went. Oh no, we're a couple months late, don't you know? Happy birthday, Perloff. Happy birthday to you. We're just a little late, but our wishes are true. We hope your day was awesome, even though it's past. We're celebrating now, and that's gonna last. I'm feeling guilty, feeling blue. Forgot my own bro's birthday, what am I to do? But Maggie reminded me, and now we're on the case. Better late than never, with a big smile on our face. We're not the only ones who are MIA. Peter Bellatti's always out, it's just his way. He's always working from home, or so he claims. But we're starting to think he's just playing video games. Yeah, Pete, if you're listening, we're on to you. We're celebrating Andrew's birthday, and we wish you were here too. Happy birthday, Perloff. Happy birthday to you. We're just a little late, but our wishes are true. We hope your day was awesome, even though it's past. We're celebrating now, and that's gonna last. We'll get after you with cake and with cheer. A belated birthday party that's crystal clear. We'll sing and we'll dance and have a blast, cause when it comes to birthdays, we're never a gas. Happy birthday, Perloff. Happy birthday to you. We're just a little late, but our wishes are true. We hope your day was awesome, even though it's past. We're celebrating now, and that's gonna last. We'll make it up to you with cake and with cheer. A belated birthday party that's crystal clear. We'll sing and we'll dance and have a blast, cause when it comes to birthdays, we never gas. Happy birthday, Perloff. Happy birthday to you. Well, we're just a little late, but our wishes are true. We hope your day was awesome, even though it's past. We hope your day was awesome. We're not the only ones who are MIA. Peter Bellatti's always out, it's just his way. He's always working from home, or so he claims. But we're starting to think he's just playing video games. Yeah, Pete, if you're listening, we're on to you. We're celebrating Andrew's birthday, and we wish you were here too.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Football season's on. We all got 3 hours of sleep, which is great. Explains why Andrew Bogus yelled at me about my Xavier Worthy take early in the show. But Bogus is here to apologize and share some headlines.
Nope. Hey, boys. Except for the Ravens and their fans and forgetting the illegal formation penalties. That was a pretty good way to start the new NFL season.
Shotgun snap. He moves up in the pocket. Right tackle block. He runs around in a circle. Cocks his arm, throws in the end zone. It's caught in the back of the end zone with the feet down. Likely got it. Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown, Baltimore! Likely back of the end zone, and a leap holds it down.
Can I just give an appreciation shout out once again for Kevin Harlan? I mean,
best.
my God,
I know.
It's
so good.
Best. I think he might be the best radio broadcaster, play-by-play I've ever heard. Radio. Sorry, Bogues.
That's okay.
I know. I mean, he's sitting right there, Pat.
Oh, no. I'm not even thinking. No, I'm talking about actual broadcasters, like actual competition for Kevin Harlan.
Got to think about that. Top radio broadcasters all time. Harlan's probably he's in the top 5.
He wouldn't let you say that he's the best, and he would 100% go to somebody like Vince Scully. Like, there's no way he'd accept that title. He might be the best now.
In terms of the pace, the speed, while like the chest high catch at the numbers on like the description, I literally I'm watching the game in my head perfectly the way that he describes it.
I know. We should ask Boomer about what he worked. They did Monday Night Football. They did the Super Bowl together all those years on Westwood One. They were great together.
It sounded great last night on Westwood One, except for Isaiah Likely's right toes landing in the white of the back of the end zone. So that was not a touchdown catch on the final play of regulation. The Ravens were going to go for 2 in a 28-27 win, but review wiped out the catch. The Chiefs win instead 27-20, Likely looking for a positive or two post-game.
At this point, it's just you got to live with the call. I mean, you got to look on, obviously watch the film, see what we could do better to not put ourselves in a situation where, to leave in the ref's hands to be able to call that call and call the game. So, all I say is just watch the film, see what we can improve on, and go into next week.
So you see the video? Sorry to cut it again, Bogues. You see the video?
You want to just finish the whole thing?
Yeah.
My script's in the computer. Just you read it.
You see the video of him in the tunnel after the game? I didn't see this last night. I saw it this morning. Chiefs fans are giving him the business as he's going through the tunnel, and then he just says, bleep you, bleep.
Glad we got that in. Where were we?
Did someone throw a beer on him or something? No.
Just talking smack.
Talking smack.
Said he was bad at football, and he cursed him out very violently.
Well, that's just false. You gotta stick to the facts, fans.
Meanwhile, anybody can do what Chiefs rookie receiver Xavier Worthy did last night, scoring a 21-yard run and a 35-yard catch in his NFL debut, except only one other person had TDs of 20-plus yards on the ground and through the air in his first game, and that was a replacement player back in 1987.
Xavier coming out as a rookie and having a touchdown, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. That was beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, Andy Reid. Nick Kostos was angry about this last hour, hoping to fire Sherrone Moore's agent. That's because Michigan confirmed yesterday its football coach is coaching without a signed contract. AD Ward Manuel saying these things take time and some things have popped up during negotiations, but I'll remind him it's September and it's about to play. The Wolverines are their second game of the season. It might be time to finish this off.
Well, you wonder what happens if Texas comes in and they lose by 3 touchdowns. Does the negotiation then change again? And then does it change again if they lose to Michigan State? And does it change again? Like that's why Moore's agents are doing a terrible job.
I think this is about Michigan knows what's coming with Sherrone and punishments, and they don't want to be
sign stealing scandal.
And they don't want to be locked into anything.
Well, he did delete a lot of text messages. That's not usually the sign that you're innocent.
But they got him back, and I think he went with these are embarrassing but not incriminating.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
They could be both.
Baseball last night, the Rockies surprised the Braves 3-1, dropping Atlanta into a tie with the idle Mets for the last NL wildcard spot. Jessica Pegula lost the first set in just 28 minutes, then won the last 2 over Carolina Muhova to reach the U.S. Open final. Fellow American Emma Navarro lost the other semi to second-seeded Arina Sabalenka. The men's Final Four is today. Taylor Fritz and Francis Tiafoe have Arthur Ashe Stadium to themselves this evening. And the Washington Mystics stayed hot last night with a 90-77 win in Phoenix. They've won 5 of 6 to pull within a half game of Chicago and Atlanta for the last playoff spot. Pat, back to you.
I'll take it from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bogish. Okay, we are so excited because last year we attempted to do this thing and we pulled it off. And we were so proud of ourselves and patting ourselves on the back that we are doing it again. And it was such a success that we started the season of celebrity guest pickers with the one and only Jerry Ferrara, who we love. So we're starting the season again with Jerry. Jerry, thank you so much for being here. Jerry, thank you for doing this. So many exciting things going on in your life right now. Of course, Jerry, we know you as an amazing actor. You are the #1 diehard Knicks fan, and now you have a brand new podcast that you are doing with Matt Leinart, the former quarterback. It's called Throwbacks. You just had your first episode drop yesterday. Your first guest was Ashton Kutcher. Awesome conversation. How did you get paired up with Matt Leinart?
Yeah, I've been wanting to get back into the podcast space for a while. I go back to 2012 doing it with my wife. And then we started talking about names and Matt Leinart's name came up. And instantly I'm like, oh, I think that's my new Vinny Chase right there. He's tall, handsome, way more athletic than Adrian Grenier. So, yeah, it became an instant friendship right away. And shout outs to Ashton Kutcher, who was our first guest yesterday, grew an amazing Mike Ditka stash because he's a big Bears fan to welcome in the season.
Jerry, Matt Leinart, I've been around him in person. He's surprisingly tall. Like all those quarterbacks like that, that dude is gigantic.
Look, I've been getting short jokes my whole life. I've made a career out of it. I don't have a short guy complex. I like being short. I can get in and out of rooms. No one even knows I'm there. People are already making fun of the height discrepancy. I'm like, he's 6'5". He's a legit combine measurement, barefoot, like 6'4 3/4. And yes, I'm 5'6". I'm short, but the dude is a legit 6'5".
Jerry, when you guys were doing Entourage and which was such an amazing show, groundbreaking, all the great accolades, and you had all the celebrities in LA was like part of the show and you would interact. Were there episodes with USC football? Did you guys ever do anything with that?
No, but that's also that's a great question and thought because I did find myself thinking about that. Matt's winning the Heisman 03, 04, that iconic SC team. Entourage is just starting. I'm a few years older than Matt, but easily could anyone like Matt, Reggie Bush, Linda, they all could have had cameos. I mean, we didn't really have cameos of college players ever. But of course, if you would fast forward now, like that would be a likely cameo that would have happened.
Oh, Caleb Williams would have had a 3-episode arc with you guys.
Easily. And Jalen Brunson, shout outs, Knicks.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, Jerry, on the podcast, how much sports betting talk are you going to do? Because I know, for one thing, I just love your fandom for the Knicks. It's the greatest thing ever. It's entertaining. I'm from Philly. We all love to hate you. I'll be totally honest.
I think it's mutual.
But I did say the sense with Ashton Kutcher, like there's like, how do you separate like the analyst Jerry Ferrara from the fan Jerry Ferrara?
So I try not to ever do any bets with or against my favorite team. That's like rule number one. And betting is sort of taken over fantasy football for me. I still love fantasy football. I do it. I don't quite do it like I used to because I like to just get that action in with betting. So for me, I just leave the Giants out of it. And then like last night, I needed 4 yards from Pacheco. 4 yards to hit a 5-leg parlay.
Oh, no. Jerry. Oh, my God. I hurt for you on that one. You guys have your new podcast, again, with Matt Leinart. It's called Throwbacks. The first episode is up. I watched it on YouTube, actually, which is great because I could see Ashton Kutcher and his cool Mike Ditka mustache and all the other things that Ashton Kutcher brings to women my age. But you guys were having a conversation about Matt Leinart watched a Knicks game with you. And you guys were like in a bar, I think. I don't think this was at the Garden, but he watched Knicks game with you, and he said it was like scary.
Yeah. I'll try and keep this brief because it's a little bit of a longer story. But the funny thing about Leinart is, he doesn't have like a fandom, meaning like, he grew up like a Dodger fan, so he likes the Dodgers, but he does not feel he doesn't have an NFL favorite team. He does not feel really as passionate as I do about the Knicks or Andrew with the Sixers about any team. So we were at an event in New York City, and it was the game where OG Anunoby tore his hamstring, basically, right? And once the event finished, I locked into the screen to the point where we had tickets to the game. Matt and I could have went to the game. I'm like, we can't go in the third quarter. I'm going to miss too much action. So yeah, he thought it was hysterical watching me bite through my fingernails, shake, drink my way through, and the Knicks won that game. And he's like, "You look like you were miserable the whole time." I'm like, "No, I had a great time. That was the best night ever."
No, this is me partying. I absolutely love this.
Wait, Jerry, have you thought about calling the NBA commissioner and see if they'll hand out the trophy to the team that wins the most regular season games? Because that seems to be the Knicks' strategy. I mean, that's the best chance you probably got.
Well, we definitely know the Sixers are not getting any trophies for any playoff. You know that.
Touche.
You know, and listen, all I'll say on the Philly thing, I never bought into like, oh, Philly fans are the meanest. And Philly fans on Twitter, first of all, I was unhinged during that series, and you guys genuinely hurt my feelings. And I only have like one or two feelings, and they were both hurt.
I mean, you've been an actor for your whole life, basically. You've been in the public eye. You've probably heard the good and the bad of everything, and no one's hurt your feelings more than the stupid Philadelphia fans?
No, season 1 of Entourage, there was a website. That's how old Entourage is. There was a website dedicated called Let's Kill Turtle Off Entourage because we hate him.com.
Right.
That didn't bother me. I thought that was hilarious. The stuff you Philly Sixer fans said to me, I actually was like, man, he went too far. He went too far when he said that.
Jerry Ferrara is joining us. He's our celebrity guest picker. We'll get to the picks in just one moment. But last thing for you on the 76ers-Knicks rivalry and you and Perloff going back and forth is hilarious to me as a bystander. Do you have a bet now with Matt Leinart with your new podcast Throwbacks where you're going to have to wear a Sixers jersey to the Garden? You realize you will get kicked out permanently for that. Dolan kicks out people for less.
So, and look, Perloff, I swear, like, I love you. We know each other a long time. Like, I was mad at you too. I was mad at you too. I might have even said some nasty things. I apologize. Leinart, this is why you could tell he doesn't have like that team, because he just casually opened up the podcast with, how about if the Jets make the Super Bowl? You have to go to the Garden. And he's trying to find the most hurtful thing. He's like, no, not an Eagles jersey because it's basketball. What if you went as a Sixers jersey? With a Sixers jersey? I said, first of all, Matt, stop talking crazy.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So I think we negotiated it down to like, I will wear a Jets jersey just publicly. Not at the Garden. I'm not messing with Dole. That's never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Don't do that. Also, like, Jerry, it would be huge news if you showed up with a 76ers jersey at the Garden. I don't know. People would have a meltdown, dude. You can't mess with people like that.
It would be my career would be over. My life, I mean, outside of having a lovely wife and kids, I would have nothing else.
Jerry,
Nothing.
we were lucky enough to get courtside seats. Maggie couldn't go, so our producer went sitting next to Dolan. It's under the basket. It was a terrifying experience. I don't know if you get nervous. Just like and I'm a Sixers fan. I didn't cheer once.
So it's still crazy to me that I actually get to go sit courtside. I never take it lightly. I never think it's expected. I went to a lot of games in 06, 07, a lot of the Chris Duhon years. I do feel like I've earned it a little bit because I've been with this team forever. When I go, Andrew, I'm just so about the game. I don't know who I'm sitting next to. Like halftime, that's why I got so mad at Kelly Oubre when he said, "Oh, these Knicks fans, they go like the celebrities." Not that I think I'm a celebrity. Like they don't care about basketball. I don't leave my seat.
No one says that about. No one says you don't care about basketball, Jerry. That's
we all know
not
you
in
care.
the ether.
Yeah. So that's the best experience I've ever had in my life. I'm sorry, it just is. I love it.
Who is the best person you've met on Celebrity Row there?
Geez, there's been a few, obviously. I love sitting next to like the diehard Knick fans. Like Stiller is unbelievable. I worked with Ben Stiller's dad years ago on King of Queens, right? Jerry Stiller was like the first Hollywood celebrity I ever met in 2000. And I had met Ben once before, but sitting next to him and nerding out with him about the Knicks. But then also infamously sat during a playoff game, Knicks Heat 2 years ago, they decided to sit me next to Aaron Rodgers like a few weeks out from his first game. And he was on like his Welcome to New York tour. That got a lot. Everyone was like calling me, wanting to know what he said. I'm like, first of all, none of your business. But yeah, I don't know why they stuck me, a Giants fan, next to Aaron Rodgers, but we talked basketball the entire time.
Well, I was going to say, they want to know what Rodgers said because he says such crazy things.
He said a lot of smart things about basketball. I'll tell you that. Guy knows basketball.
Owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, we've got to get to it. We brought you here, to talk about the podcast Throwbacks that you're doing with Matt Leinart, which is really cool. First episode has dropped. They got Ashton Kutcher, big-time Bears fan, as their first guest. But let's do some picks.
Maggie.
Hey, Perloff, over here. Time for Celebrity Picks.
All right, Jerry, we're going against the spread here. 5-pack for you. Let's hit it off with tonight's game. Packers, Eagles, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Perloff's Eagles are a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and look, I am taking this very seriously, both of you. I want you to know. I want to be good on this. This is probably the hardest game of the week for me to figure out because you don't know what is going to happen in Brazil necessarily, how the teams are going to react. I'm trying to treat it as a regular game. I just think the Packers are a little overhyped this year. I think their offense is going to be really good. I think their defense is not going to be good. I think it'll be a fun offensive game for both. I think in the end, the Eagles are just way better defensively. Starting off this show being nice to you, Perloff. Yes. Eagles will cover the 2.5, I think, pretty easily.
He doesn't deserve that, Jerry. Don't do it. Jerry Ferrara is here picking NFL games for us. Cowboys, Browns 2.5-point favorite, Jerry.
So this is a very emotional game for me. We also know I hate the Cowboys because I'm a Giants fan, and my wife is from Cleveland.
Yeah.
I call the Browns my team-in-law, right? Because I want my in-laws to be happy. I'm sneakily going Browns here. I think the defense was so good at home last year. I think it's going to carry over again this year. I think the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb, might take them a minute to get loose. I like the Browns in a very close game.
Rams, Lions. I sent you the line as 4. It's moved to 4.5. I don't know if that factors in. Who do you have?
Look, I love the Lions this year. They're my Super Bowl pick. I know everyone's kind of picking the Lions to go to the NFC. I really loved what I saw last year from them. But look, Stafford going back to Detroit. The Rams, McVay coaching, he only needs like 4 guys to be good. That's how good of a coach McVay is. I think the Lions win, but I like the Rams cover. I think it's a field goal game. I think maybe Lions in fourth quarter field goal to win.
Titans, Bears, Caleb Williams debut. Bears a 3.5-point favorite.
Shout outs to my boy Ashton Kutcher. I know what he's going to be doing during this game. Look, I'm going Bears here. My prediction is I don't think it's going to look great out of the gate in the first half. I think it's going to take a little bit to settle the nerves. I love that it's home for them. I think the Titans aren't going to be good, but I think they're going to be similar to Arizona. They might win 4 or 5 games, but frisky every game. But I like the Bears to cover and pull away in the fourth quarter.
Final one, Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, who you sat next to at a Knicks game famously. He sat next to you. In San Francisco, 49ers a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah, we know the Rodgers-Niners history. We really did not get to see anything from the Jets last year, and they still won some games, even though they didn't really have a quarterback. I like the Jets not only to cover, but to win outright, and I can't believe I'm saying this on a big-time show. But I like the Jets to win and cover outright.
Now, we know you're being honest, though, because you're not picking the Jets unless you really believe in them.
That's true.
No. I just think the Jets are going to be so happy to be playing football, and if Aaron Rodgers stays upright, I think it's going to be a close but a good win for the Jets.
Jerry, you are the best. Thank you for kicking off our season of Celebrity Guest Picker once again. The podcast is called Throwbacks. It's with Matt Leinart. You can see his Heisman is right back there, Matt Leinart. Go New York Knicks. Yeah. Check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Jerry, you're awesome. Thank you.
Congrats on the
Thank
podcast.
You.
Awesome.
Really, really good.
Thanks so much, and hopefully I win some games and could come back and do it again.
Awesome.
We'll bring it back on maybe when the Nova Knicks start their season. Talk a little Knicks with Jerry Ferrara.
Maybe we'll all celebrate in the Garden except for you, Maggie. Sorry.
No, I'm banned. Okay, we got more to get to. Don't move, Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
So much fun with Jerry Ferrara, our celebrity guest picker. Remember him as Turtle from Entourage. He's done so much more than that. He's got a new podcast, so that was really, really cool to talk to him, and he made some picks for us. It's been a really fun show, but Perloff, there's one thing above all else that you are looking forward to this weekend.
Well, I don't know if I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to evaluating Tom Brady in the booth. I don't know what to expect. Is he going to be intense, Tom Brady? Is he going to have game energy like it's the Patriots playing the Jets? Or is he going to be a fun broadcaster? Or what's the best outcome? I really don't know what Tom Brady's going to be like, and I'm very curious. Also, it's a big game, Cowboys Browns. He might have some growing pains. Maybe I'll have to figure it out. But I think we're going to be talking about it come Monday.
By the way, Nick Kostos picked that as his upset of the week, the Cowboys over the Browns. It's a small spread. It's 2.5 points, but just a little nod there.
Imagine Brady treats this like it is like he is playing quarterback. He runs right into the camera in the open. Let's go.
Maybe if he's having any fun, that'd be cool.
Well, does he drop a curse word by accident because he's so into it? That'd be interesting.
But they'll bleep it out.
Do you remember Joe Buck last year for one open on a Monday night? All of a sudden, like ripped like a 100 out of 10 energy right in the open. I was like, where did this come from?
And you can tell with Buck because he's usually his whole thing is about being understated, and he does it really well. But here's the thing about Brady. It's still the first game. Like, we know this as broadcasters ourselves. This is the only thing we're ever going to have really in common with Tom Brady is your first show is not the same as your 10th show and your 20th and your 40th. It's very different, especially the chemistry with your partner.
Yeah, but, people are not going to care about that. They're going to evaluate it fully. No one's going to give him a break.
I don't know if it's going to be technically bad. Like, I don't think he comes in and he's Jason Witten, right? Like, Jason Witten just lost himself. It can be tough. There's a lot going on. You have people in your ear. You're watching what's going on the field. He, was getting names wrong and stuff like that. I don't think Brady's going to technically be bad. The question is he going to be critical? And he could probably be the type of person who could be critical on every play because I think that's the standard he held himself to. So if every play, every pass that gets, not caught or whatever, does he say, should have done that? Should have done that?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just drop a quick headline that I think will make you laugh? Yeah. Guess who got a promotion already? An assistant coach, a much beleaguered, controversial, I don't even know if you call him an assistant coach. I don't know what you call him.
Connor Stallions?
Connor Stallions is now the head coach at Detroit Mumford after the head coach suffered a mild stroke.
Oh, my God.
Connor Stallions is now coaching a high school team. The documentary part 2, I thought you would enjoy that.
Wait, hold on.
Not the stroke part. I feel bad for the guy, but it's a mild stroke.
Are we sure that Connor Stallions, didn't, I don't know how you could give someone a stroke, but.
I don't know. The head coach was Bro Hi-O from the Netflix documentary.
Saying he poisoned him?
I was going to say, I trust Stallions and I kind of don't trust him at the same time.
Little Walter White ricing in the coffee?
Yeah, they're going up at Hamady High School in Livonia, Michigan. Oh.
Wow.
It never gets weirder than Connor Stallions.
I'm telling you, he's going to be on Jim Harbaugh's staff in about 5 minutes.
Not if he takes Detroit Mumford to a win this weekend. He's going to be his own head coach.
Pat Boyle, thank you so much. EJ Stewart, thank you. Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Weedo's Coffee Drinkers, thank you to Nick Kostos. Thank you to Jerry Ferrara. Thank you to all of you who make this show what it is. Have a great weekend.